What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Of course, today we are getting straight into the International Africa Gaming Cup, brought to you in partnership with the Republic of Benin and Nice Cactus, as they are joining forces to offer a multi-territory gaming tournament to esports players from all over Africa. Now, with me, of course, today is going to be Mr. Victor Menes. How are you doing?
I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get this ball rolling.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting day. Of course, we are hopping straight into the finals for the Western region, or at least the players coming in from West Africa. So we are going to be going through all 5 regions. So today, starting with the West, we are also then going to be moving into the East, the Central Africa region, as well as South, and then, of course, North as well. Not in that particular order, but, we are going to be covering all these regions to see what these teams are going to be doing. So what's going to be interesting about these regional finals is that our 3 teams taking away those top 3 slots are not only going to be walking away with an extra bit of cash, but they're also then going to be moving through in towards our continental finals. So now, with regards to the prize money that we can see coming through for the regional section, the first place is walking away with $500. Second place will get $300, and then of course that third place walking away with another $200 on their end as well before moving through in towards the continental finals. So, Vector, it's going to be a very exciting day to see what these teams are going to be bringing out on the battlefield.
Indeed, lots to play for, DK. I mean, all of these teams, they have to bring the A game from the very beginning. Game number 1, right throughout to game number 4, we are going to see a lot of, I would say, offensive gameplay. Get ready.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit on the table here to see, and of course, we are going to be also then running through our beautiful map rotation as well. So let's take a quick look at that map rotation. As we can see, we are going to be starting it off right on towards Erangel, after which we're going to be moving into a little bit of that Miramar action, followed up by Sanok, and then of course we are going to be closing it up with Erangel once again. So a really good balance with regards to what we have lined up for those maps. So, which map are you looking forward to, Victor?
You know what? The map that stands out the most to me is going to have to be Miramar. It is always the biggest map when it comes to PUBG Mobile, and we do know that is one of the most difficult maps, I would say, to play on because of the terrain, having to work with the long distance shots and trying to get the limbs in there. Sanok for the action as well, and then ending it off for me on Erangel would be the cherry on the cake for me.
Yeah, so there's a little bit in store for these teams to show us what they can do and what they can bring in. Of course, today is the only day for this regional finals. So whatever they have to bring, they're going to have to bring it across these 4 matches because, as we said before, only those top 3 teams will be moving through into the continental finals. So there is going to be a little bit at stake for these teams to keep up their performance and ensure that they move through onto the next spot.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's going to be standard scoring. So a lot of people are also going to be going for that winner chicken dinner top 3 places so that they can get the points in there. But of course, the elims, that also counts. You can never put that past these players. They have the abilities. We've seen it. And I mean, what a lineup. Yes, I am so excited.
Yeah, and I mean, with regards to the points, we are going to be using our standard point system, point structure, starting at 15 points, I believe, for that winner chicken dinner. From there, it will be whittled down where we get to, if you finish between 13th and 16th position, you will not be awarded any placement points, but however, as we also then know, 1 point being awarded per elimination acquired during these matches. So it's going to be an interesting run to see what the teams are going to be bringing through. Of course, now we're just going to be waiting for everyone to get themselves situated up in towards the lobby before we start transitioning towards that game. So I'm curious to hear from the viewers what your guys' thoughts are, right? Who do you think will be the teams to step up and potentially walk away with the victory in our very first match? Now, to give you a bit of idea as to who we'll be having coming in onto the games here today, we've got Slime 4KT, we've got Cyclone Shield, as well as Team Apex, we've got Asteria Esports, then also we've got Fear NG, we've got Team Exodus, we've got Citizens, as well as the Outlaw Predators. We've got the Snipers. Then also a little bit of the Almost Wanted. We've got 03 Brothers. We've got YT Gaming, as well as Syndicate Esports, ICEDOUT Girls, Search and Destroy, and then, of course, Dream Team GLACIER. So there's a few names on here that I have seen before, teams that I've seen participate in events and tourneys and so on, but it's going to be interesting to see the teams that I'm not that familiar with, what they're actually going to be bringing out to the table and, how much of a representation they're going to be looking to bring onto the field.
Indeed. I mean, the names that stand out for me the most there, and if I'm going to lay my bet down at DK, I'm going to say, if I may, Slime for KT stands out for me. Of course, YT Gaming as well. I mean,
Mm.
big round of applause to those guys for what happened a couple of days ago as well. Three brothers too as well in there. Yeah, and the rest we do know many names there as well.
Yeah, yeah. So great lineup that we've got coming through here. So of course we are just going to be waiting for that lobby to get underway for the teams to make sure that everyone is in their slots. It does seem like everyone is pretty much ready to roll, but of course, as we know, we're going to have to wait for that final bit of confirmation before we can actually jump straight into our very first match. So yeah, I mean, we've got teams coming in from across the region, all across Africa, waiting to see what they are going to be bringing on in, and who's going to be those teams stepping on up. But of course, I just realized that they were waiting for me to give the go ahead to start the lobby, but I can't hear them or see them. So, but I've given the go ahead from my side, so we should be heading straight across in towards the lobby to get a little bit of that action going. Now, I mean, as you said, right, we saw the players from YT Gaming. They were performing in the PMCO Africa just over the weekend, playing out in those finals. So a lot of these teams we have seen participate in PMCOs. We've also seen a few of these teams play in the PMPLs for Africa as well. So I mean, it's creating a little bit of an expectation as we could potentially be seeing coming through from these teams, as we have teams with a little bit more of experience, and of course teams that you, for instance, have seen quite a bit in the scrims that you've been casting.
Yes, of course, and I do know they are going to be gunning hard for that YT name as well, just to see how they can perform against a team that good. I'm looking forward to game number one, especially because majority of the players that are going to looking to be introducing themselves and letting their thumbs do all the talking here tonight.
I mean, that's the best, right? I mean, this is one of the only platforms where you can, arrive in the lobby and let your thumbs do all the talking. You're right. Mine just says a whole bunch of something. I don't want to say that out loud, but it's like it's nothing in comparison to what these players actually bring out on the field.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we see the videos online and everything. The speed that these guys have, oh my god! And so now we're going to see them in action at the very best. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot at stake here for these teams. Of course, we got about 50 seconds or so left on the clock while we wait to see what our flight path is going to be doing. But of course, speaking about that, we are going to be transitioning into the map feed so we can see what that flight path is going to be doing the moment it appears. And also, just to give you a bit of idea as to who the players are, we have repping each of these teams, as we can see all of the players coming through there for Slime for KT. Of course, we got the players then for Cyclone Shield as well. Some pretty interesting logos here. I mean, we were talking, when I was doing a TDM event, we were also talking about, just having a bit of a look at all these different logos coming through for these teams. But again, some very exciting ones here. But I mean, at the end of the day, we know Battle Royale, right? Logo is just a logo. The teams will have to prove themselves.
Yeah, it is beautiful. The creativity always comes in with PUBG Mobile when it comes to the logos of the teams. They never fail. They never fail, DK. It's always beautiful. Something nice to look at always.
Yeah. Speaking about looking at something nice that's beautiful, it is going to be our flight path appearing up towards that northern side. A nearly horizontal flight path. That is definitely not something we see all too often, but of course, it is going to be starting on that eastern side, heading straight across towards Georgiapol on the west. So it is going to be somewhat limiting as to the access the teams will have to those further southern positions. But of course, as we know, right, nothing wrong with a little bit of a vehicle hop. Get in, get your butt across into your loot location, and then we get to see what these teams are going to be doing with regards to rotations, right? Because we know that first phase, that first zone, is also going to be appearing once the plane has crossed over. And then we can see what these teams will have to bring with regards to their rotations, their positioning, and at what point they're going to be looking to get into these engagements.
Yeah. First things first, feet on the ground. Let's see where they decide to go. The entire northern hemisphere of Irangle over here, it's been reduced to only severely shooting range Stalber. So it looks like already by now, majority of the players are going down south. And they might just meet with a few teams as well, seeing from what we're seeing right now.
Yep. I mean, there could be several interesting positions. Of course, I mean, it's difficult to make an accurate a guesstimation as to where these teams are going to be going this early on, because everyone's still just trying to find their feet. But of course, speaking about finding their feet, right? You can see the players there from Slime, they've already touched down. They are ready to roll. Also, the iced out girls also already dropping close towards Prison. Also, a little bit of a spread coming in towards Shelter. But now, as that first zone appears, we can see it moving all the way over on towards that western side. So it is somewhat of a complementary zone coming through, but you know, it still adds that extra little bit, that extra element of I won't say difficulty, but surprise for these teams with regards to positions as to where they can go.
Yeah, you know, PUBG Mobile with the zone, it's always a surprise. You don't know where you're going to be next, so you've got to make sure that you get a vehicle. So I would go with the guys that's in the zone right now. They find themselves in a good spot. 4KT, we're looking at the guys in pink over there at Prison. That is Ice as well. They've got some time. They've got a lot of space as well to do their looting to get into the next zone. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a difficult job for them. But if we move into the center of the zone as well at Gatke area, we do have a couple of teams quite close to each other. And it looks like Fear and Whitey might just get into an early battle here, as well as in Pochinki. It looks like they're trying to escape each other as well. If you look at this, the beauty of this map over here, nobody trying to get on each other's tail.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a few close encounters coming in with these teams, but fortunately for them, you know, nothing has really resulted out of those rotations. We did have the team also coming through from, I believe it was Most Wanted, if I'm not mistaken. Right there up in towards Pochinki. So there's several interesting positions that these teams have already looked to take occupation of, right? So we're just trying to get a bit of a bird's eye view to see, you know, where these teams currently find themselves situated and how they're going to look to rotate up from there, as we still have a lot of opening, especially moving in on towards that edge of the zone, right? Up towards that northern side, like shooting range, the cube. Everest, strangely enough, has a little bit of a, you know, occupancy in the vicinity, but again, nothing too crazy, as the teams are still just making their way through their looting phase.
Yeah, we're looking at DREAMTEAM right now, going all the way down south to Novo. Even at Zaki, that might just be something going on over there between Syndicate Esports and Citizens. They find themselves right up on top of each other. I think SynX over there fighting the first couple of rounds towards Sin, or is that 007 over there in front of him? I believe it is. And we're about to maybe see our first knock. Coming through to the kill feed as well.
Yeah, we're going to be hopping straight across into the action here, as we can see, as you mentioned and called out, the players here from Syndicate Esports getting themselves ready for a little bit of that push. You can see Hit now just trying to keep their distance, right? Not a super aggressive push coming in. I mean, there was some potential for those early engagements, but it does seem like the players here from Syndicate are going to be looking to instead keep their distance. They don't want to get into any unnecessary engagements, especially in the early game.
Yeah, you don't want to be that team to leave the lobby this early, especially in game number 1. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do. But it looks like Big from the Citizens, he's keeping the line. He's staying right up in front there. The guys from who is the Syndicate Esports as well, looks like they are kind of retreating as well. That would be the best thing to do at this point of the game, DK.
Yep. You want to try and put a little bit of distance in between. You don't want to get caught out unnecessarily. Now, as we just cycle through the players here, we can see there is a little bit of that opportunity here now for the Citizens to come in and pick up a few of those elims. But, you know, Begho and 11, they just holding their ground. I mean, 11 almost in a little bit of a hot situation here, as we can see. There's a little bit of a player up ahead, but a beautiful spray coming through there from 11, picking up Man 44. And I mean, that was nearly effortless, right? That was such a quick and comfortable knock to get through. But now, of course, we know, right? 11 keeping their attention to the rest of the team there from Syndicate that is also still holding up in the vicinity. And, you know, they're not going to be moving on until they have, you know, 100% information or close to that as to where the rest of the players could be situated.
Yeah, right now it looks like, oh, and there we go. They get the elimination to their name. I was going to say, it looks like they are willing. Team number 15 over here, Syndicate Esports, to let one of their teammates go. He just left now, so it's time to probably leave this match alone against the Citizens.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, Citizens coming up with a beautiful lineup here. As we can see, we got 11 holding the high ground, with Gaudier just behind them. But then we also have Begho and 007 now just rotating a little bit further on towards that northern side, just to bring in a few more angles for them to try and cover. And as we look over onto the players coming through there from Citizens, Syndicate, we can see also, you know, they trying to assess the situation because they haven't had a clear line of sight on towards Citizens just yet. So they're waiting to see what information they're able to gather.
Well done on spotting that. Citizen also taking the high ground. It looks like they do have the upper hand at this moment. Syndicate, they do need to probably find themselves in a better situation. They do have the opportunity to get out there. If we look at Synex, he's getting a vehicle now. That might just be on their mind. Let's try and find ourselves in a better situation, because right now they're stuck down below and you don't want to be in a spot where they find themselves.
I mean, it's not the worst situation to be in, but it's it's not the most advantageous spot to be. But of course, we can see the players there from Syndicate now just starting to mobilize themselves a little bit more, just starting to head out. But I mean, even looking at what the Citizens are doing themselves, right? Also, just trying to figure which way around are they going to be looking to make this approach, because as we know, the zone has taken a little bit of a shift over on towards that western side, right? So they'll definitely need to get themselves a little bit closer to that. They can't stay too far from that phase, because obviously it's not going to be too advisable. And essentially they're going to look to get themselves a little bit better situated, right? Because we know there's still a lot of opportunities moving through in towards this phase. We can see the teams just holding, you know, their space for the time being, looking at what that map is bringing in as well. So we can see Blue Zone starting to close on through, but not an aggressive send coming in from a lot of these teams, right? Everyone pretty much just respecting the space and, you know, just taking it smooth and easy.
What a nice start to game number one. I couldn't get any better, except if you belong to Citizens right now. There we go. We got 007 that has just been taken out, as they do look to lay their trap. It's looking good right now. These 60 taking on is, I'm not too sure what that name is, but we have a little bit of 6 in this, and X is down as well. Gotti gets that knock. Dio is low. There we go, trading off shots now.
I mean, that is looking pretty spicy. I mean, looking at Sexy, that is a little bit of a worrying position, right? That rush is now, of course, going to come through from the rest of Citizens. They are going to be looking to pick up that squad wipe. They want those eliminations locked on through. Fortunately, you know, Sexy was able to recover a little bit of health, but unfortunately, it is going to be the Citizens to step up and send them packing.
Remarkable, impressive gameplay coming through here by the Citizens. Also, unfortunately, they lost 007 in that battle, so they'll be going through to the next zone with 3 players. Well, at least with 4 eliminations to the name, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking across at what we have currently happening on the map itself, right? So there's still quite a few positions that teams can look to move into. I'm especially interested to see what the teams are going to be doing, rotating in along that southern island, right? Coming through on that western bridge. We can see a potential setup coming through there from DREAMTEAM with 1 or 2 players rotating up behind them. So they're going to have to be a little bit cautious as to how they take that engagement. But of course, before we get too caught up in, you know, just looking at the map, I think it's going to be worth our while to head down on towards Archers. We can already see 1 or 2 of those eliminations starting to find their way on through. But now the pressure is going to be on here for Archer to try and defend that bridge while the rest of the team start to rotate closer, because we can still have Storm and Lucid Stark out in that blue zone. So this is where Archer needs to be super careful.
Yep. Archer decided to take that fight on. He got the elimination to his name right now as we were in conversation there. The rest of the teammates, though, the guy that he just took out, they do need to find themselves in the bridge area as well, just so that they can get into the next zone and get through Archer before Storm and Lucid Shock, like you said, pull up, because they are on a route right now.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of options that they can try and bring on through here, but we do have, of course, a little bit of that contention now starting to happen further in towards the zone. We got the players there from Apex also now just starting to lay down a few hits, sending them across over onto the players coming through from the side there of Fear. As we take a quick look over on towards Kage here, you can see Fear just holding up in towards Gatka itself. So a nice off-angle play coming through here from Kage, really trying to See if they can potentially leverage this position. But what's going to be more interesting is to see what the rest of the team here from Apex is going to be doing, right? Are they going to move in to try and support this position, or are they just going to keep their distance for the time being?
Yeah, I see a little bit of a triangle forming, and that's probably just to make sure that they have every side covered there when it looks in between hospital and Gatka area. It's a good situation for them. However, if Fear, first of all, if they decide to push towards Kage, Apex would be in a little bit of a pickle over there.
Yeah, I mean, they could be in a pickle, they could be on a, you know, there's several ways that that can unfold, but, you know, we have to wait and see what it is they're going to be looking to try and bring through here. Of course, several more teams continuing to converge down onto towards each other. We do see the players here from Apex still just keeping a very watchful eye, being very cautious there of Fear. But of course, we also have the players here from 0-3 also about to get into a little bit of an engagement as we have 4KT now rushing straight up towards them. Not quite sure what's happening here with Schnitz, but Schnitz is going to try and keep a little bit of a watchful angle there, as we did see a few of those eliminations already coming through. Nexus, of course, getting traded on down. It is now up to Schnitz and True to keep up the front line defensive performance. But it does seem like quite a bit of an aggression coming in here from Slime, as it is now up to True to try and keep the team in this match. A little bit of a rush comes through on towards Pronto. Pronto, of course, now just holding the position in the room. Oh, sorry, that's Plaza getting ready for a little bit of a push here. So True just quickly using that opportunity to get themselves resituated, heading up towards the roof, looking to see if they can maybe get the res on towards Fears. But I'm not quite sure whether or not Schnitz is going to be able to make it, as we can see Schnitz also just holding on the outside. So we could potentially see yet another player for 0-3 now falling.
Yeah, I'm surprised at what I'm seeing over here. We've got the three brothers all upstairs and then 4KT downstairs. They did battle. It was a 1v1 situation with the last two, and they decided to actually call it a truce for a little while there. Let's get our players back up. That happened. And we do have a little bit of a upstairs, downstairs situations at this compound now, as we do see Fears taking a nade over there. And that puts 4KT on the upward. Oh, there we go. Another one gets knocked as well through. Nades for nades for nades. All over. 4KT looking like they might have the upper hand. The three brothers are in so much trouble. Plaza looking like he wants the eliminations. Schnitz now getting the revive on his teammate over there. Spot one of them. Can he get the knock? Ooh, and that is it. 4KT for the win over there in that battle.
Yeah, beautiful engagement coming through there from Slime. I mean, getting some well-deserved eliminations, sitting on 4. So that means, of course, as we did see as well, they wiped the entirety of the team there from 3 brothers. I keep on wanting to say the 0 as well, but you know what? It is what it is as the teams continue now to roll on through. And speaking about the teams rolling on through, we also then see the players here from Exodus looking to bring in their own a little bit of a play here, just inching their way on towards the edge of the zone. I do see that for some reason, PUBG is not liking me all too much today, as things look a little bit weird, and I do apologize for that. We'll see if we can do anything to rectify it, but for the time being, we're just going to have to sit and deal with it as the teams now continue to make their way further and further forward in it towards the zone. A little bit of a hide and seek play coming through here from the side of you know, the players for Exodus, as they're now just trying to keep themselves right there on towards that southern position towards the zones. We can see Kuma now just hopping in the vehicle, looking to push a little bit further forward. Dream Team also just sitting over on towards that western side. But I'm liking the spread of the teams currently situated in the zone. Of Kuma, of course, going to be hitting that tree. You know, there are so many trees to choose from. So let's say that was a little bit of an accomplishment to come through. But now they're going to be starting to take aim on towards Dream Team, with Kuma now getting hit.
Ooh, and just as the zone lands as well, they find themselves in a little bit of a situation of here outside the next zone. Let's see what Kuma can do just to sort himself out. They lost one of their teammates over there. They do need to form up, because Dream Team is going to make life difficult right now. Fix this, and there we go. He's about to leave the area. Vacation time.
Yes.
Not for long though.
Yes, definitely not for long, as you know, there's still a little bit of a trek for these teams to make their way through as they look to get themselves back in towards this next zone. But it is going to be a little bit of a risky play, right? We still have 12 teams remaining, 44 players alive. And everyone now going to be vying for their own position coming in towards the zone. So we can see the players here from Exodus still going to be continuing up that edge. We do have a little bit of a drift coming through there for Lucid Stark for the Dream Team. But today we shall call them the Drift Team. As you can see, you know, PUBG being a little bit buggy as it sometimes is. But of course, speaking about buggy, right, it is going to be the players there from the side of Exodus now looking to bug the rest of the team situated up ahead of them in towards the zone. And that, of course, is going to be none other than the players coming through from the Cyclone Shield as well as the players there from YT. So they got to be super cautious as to how they take this fight, because one false move could put them in a very sticky situation.
Yeah, they've got lower ground. They've got, you see the team in blue over there, Cyclone Blues. They've got the upper ground, YT to the left. It's going to be a difficult one. They're not in zone as well. They have exactly, well, almost no time remaining until that blue starts moving in. Oh, it's going to be difficult. Even on the northern side of the map as well, we got a little bit of a cluster forming up there as well. A couple of thirsts also coming in at the ruins area. This is the part of the game where we're going to see a couple of eliminations coming in every second.
Yeah,
here we go.
We could definitely be seeing a couple of eliminations coming through. Yeah, I mean, this game having this weird little bit of a stutter happening to it. Not quite sure what the reason for that is, but we did see Kuma also now getting traded on up there. So now it is going to be a little bit of a situation here for them to see whether or not they can make a bit of a comeback. As you know, Kuma's team Exodus now reduced down to only one, and that is going to be Mena, looking to squeeze on through. But of course, right behind them, we do have the players here from YT keeping a very watchful position on the players here from Cyclone. So up comes a bit of a rush there from Manfilla. Comes up with a beautiful hit. Beautiful knock coming in as Money gets taken on down. But now they've got to keep the tension high, because you can see there's still a few teams holding up in the vicinity, so they don't have a clear angle just yet.
That's going to be a difficult one. Now they're trying to deal with Cyclone. Cyclone got one of them people knocked, as we also have from a distance over here. We have the Outlaw Predators fighting in on YT as well, making life that much difficult for them. I don't know if they're going to decide to move, but it looks like they are trying to just hold this area with the vehicles that they do have, waiting probably for the next zone to come in. They are doing a good job. They haven't lost a player as yet, but they are quite low. They need to watch their backs over here, because, I mean, they do have the Cyclones down on top of them as well over here. Here they come. Ooh. There they go.
Ooh. All right, so Manfilla still just trying to hold on that position. Still a little bit of contention coming in on towards the southern edge. But as we now try to get a bit of an idea as to where these teams will have to try and squeeze into, we take a quick little look at that map as well. As we can see, the teams still just very much spread out, right? We got one or two teams currently positioned up in towards the zone. We do have Mester trying to make a run for it as well, trying to get that anchor point set up. But now they have to contend with Apex, also looking to move in alongside the players there from Slime 4KT. So it's going to be a very tough position for these teams now to try and secure as they get ready to head further and further in towards that zone. We do see the players there from Apex also coming under a little bit of fire over in that feed. But now, I mean, it's gonna be a tough one, right? There's not a lot of space left. Oh, no. And it's gonna be Slime now getting eliminated. I was trying to hop over to them, and instead, this is what I got.
And they got,
you know, Slime getting sent back to the lobby. So that is a little bit of a rip on that end. But, of course, right,
Apex
still
as well.
8 teams remaining.
Here we go. And just like that, Apex as well joins them back to the lobby. I like what the ladies in the middle of here, team number 16, if we're looking at the ICEDOUT girls finding themselves first within the next zone, they're holding it down, making life difficult for everyone to try and get those the compounds where they find themselves in over there. We got YT just outside also, that they are trying to keep at bay. It's going to be a difficult job. Also down south, it's going to be a difficult job over here with still the guys from slot number 4 would be Cyclone. We're going to call them Cyclone, taking out Manifella. So YT just lost a player over there. Ooh, not looking too good. There we go. We've got Flo also. They're getting knocked. And eliminated. Back to the lobby. These Dream Team that gets that elimination on their account as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a risky run to go. Still sitting with 7 teams remaining. We do have the players from YT now trying to defend the rush coming in their direction. As we did see the players there from Sniper making a bit of a rush, trying to get that jump on towards them. And with that, of course, it is going to be a very detrimental run for Whitey as they do, start to get a little bit hammered away there, blow after blow, making its way on through. But now as we look on towards the players here from Cyclone Shields, you can see them still just holding on the position on towards that southern side, looking for a bit of a vantage point to try and potentially play from here. But looking at the options that they've got, it is going to be a very, very tough call to make. As you can see, that zone now taking just another little bit of a shift further on towards the northern side. So this could be that opening now for the players coming through here from Cyclone Shield to potentially advance themselves closer to the edge. But as we can see on the map, right, they do have somewhat of a clear rotational path. But it's still going to be a little bit of a challenge as, they have to try and sneak past the players there from the Outlaws Predators.
Yeah, the Outlaws Predators will be taking the lower ground, but they, like you said, they have a little bit of an open field to go straight over the hill that they have over here. Heroes as well now kind of blocking their way forward, so Steelers will be gatekeeping the guys from the Cyclones. Also, ICE also just firing in their shots, making life that much difficult for the Cyclones. I'm not sure if they'll make it, but let's see. Everything's against them right now. They are in their vehicles. They are going to make their way in, and here we go. In a second now, they will meet a team, and it's going to go down. As we do have a fight between the Outlaw Predators, taking them on. A couple of shots coming in there as well. Ooh, they are trying to find a bit. They are deciding to go more towards the north side of the next zone. And they don't have much company, not much cover as well. And they need to get the smokes out as fast as they can. Troy gets taken down as well. Sticks also nearly meets his demise, but he's okay. Going to be a tough one. They are literally sitting right next to each other here.
I mean, talk about a spicy setup, right? This is pretty crazy. I mean, we're down to our final 4 teams, and everyone is now just going to try and survive this as long as they possibly can. So on the one side, we've got the players there from Cyclone Shield. On the opposite, we've got the players coming through from the ICEDOUT girls. So we've got Nyx just holding this position. Nyx and Ezra, the final 2 remaining players for their team. So you can see Manny now trying to make a bit of a play here up against the side of Snipers that are yet to push in. I mean, they do have that entry point in towards the zone, but they do not have a secured angle locked in just yet. So it is going to be somewhat of a tough position for them to try and play. Of course, the players there from the ICEDOUT girls also now down to only 1, as it is up to Ezra to try and keep these final few angles locked on through. While the sprays now continue to fly on through. Manny trying to pick up a little bit of engagement, but of course the return fire coming in as the Snipers are not going to stand for any of those straight taps to potentially find their way. I'm liking this angle coming through here from Roach. Definitely utilizing terrain. That little bump on the hillside here could actually be turning out to be quite favorable for them, as we can see now the shots continue to rain down. It is pure chaos erupting out on that battlefield.
Wow. Look at that. If we're looking at the next zones, we got the boys from TP. They do have the next zone, so they will be smiling all the way if they can hold it down, though. The only guys that they do need to watch out is Mr. Danny Brown over there and Rix. They kind of looking to get a nice angle on them, seeing if they can sneak into that extra little bit of space that they do have up ahead of them to get into the next zone. But also, it's going to be difficult because each one has a corner in the zone. And it looks a little bit like a wrestling match going on over here, DK.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of corners coming into a circle, right? But the Roach now almost getting run over as we see that quick rush making its way on through. Up comes a little bit of a play here. Roach waiting to see if they can find any of these potential openings here. Oh, but with that, the shots finding their way over as Roach now gets down. And with that, the rest of the players from Cyclone also make their way back down to final 3 teams we go. It is going to be up to our final contenders. Ezra now trying to make a quick run, trying to get out into the open, but with that, unfortunately, gets taken right on down as the shots are just hammered home. And it's now down to our final 2 teams. It is, of course, going to be the players there from the Snipers going up against the squad from the Outlaw Predators. So this is quite a favorable shift, actually, now for the players here from the Outlaw Predators, right? They've got that whole entire zone to themselves. And all they can do now is sit back and wait and see what the snipers are going to be bringing in. But of course, the snipers are sitting on 15 eliminations.
Oh, indeed. Fantastic gameplay as well coming in through from Mr. Sid. Oh, how do I pronounce it? SIDIZENS from Snipers, playing a brilliant role there with the medic, getting both of his teammates back up. And just like that, they're all back in the game. They're back in it with a full squad. They had 3 down, if you can believe that, DK. But Citizen came in there with a revive for his team, and they might just stand a chance to get first place here in game number 1. But only time will tell as they are trying to push towards the right. We do have Zaid over there. The Citizen also just trying to come through the top. They do have a nice angle. Lots of smoke to work through. No throwables as well. EP just watching them throw. Gets knocked. Eventually, it is Zaid that gets the knock over here. Here they come. They are making their move.
Yeah.
Heroes as well just got taken out. Sniper Zaxi gets that one. Shad also eventually gets taken out over there. Eliminated. It is the final player that they are hunting down. It's Mr. Minato, and that. What a brilliant game that was, DK.
Super aggressive performance coming through here from Snipers, as we can see, finishing exceptionally well, coming in with a very decent amount of those elims to their name. As we can see, it is going to be a grand total of 19 eliminations. Absolutely insane performance coming in there. But of course, looking at what the teams have done, we see the players then from the Outlaw Predators taking that second position with 4 eliminations. We also have the players there from ICEDOUT Goals up in third place with 1. Of course, we got CYCLONE Shields holding 4th, coming in with, a decent amount of eliminations, at least being able to find 6. And then, of course, we got the players there from Citizens taking 5 in that 5th place as well. We're going to be moving down just to get a bit of an idea as to where the other teams ended up with their positions and the amount of eliminations they were able to find. As we can see their Archer also coming in with 3 eliminations for the team there of DREAMTEAM. But a good run for Slime 4KT, as we can see 7 eliminations. Even though they got sent back over in 10th position, it was still quite a bit of a performance coming through there. But of course, we also want to take a quick look at our stars of the match. So it is going to be Zaid there from the Snipers getting our MVP with Zuxi, getting the best companion as well as that finisher play, and some pretty impressive stats coming in. But again, a very satisfying performance from these teams as well. So what a way to kick off our very first match here of the day. Some pretty interesting rotations coming through there. It did seem to be a little bit of a tough play, right? It wasn't a smooth and comfortable, play for these teams to make. So I gotta say, I really like that, actually, the teams being quite contentious as they step out on towards the battlefield. But as we know, that was only the first match. We still have 3 more to go. So with having said that, next up, we are going to be moving into a little bit of that Miramar action. Now, I mean, Vector, what for you was the kind of best play coming through in this last match?
It would have to be the last 2 teams over there. We had Sniper going up against TP. I mean, looked like as if Sniper was going to get taken out. They had 1 player left over. All 3 was knocked, but some miracle just pulled through there. They got all revived, and just like that, in a matter of seconds, they were able to pull through and come through with that chicken dinner.
Well, there we go. So there's much more to look forward to, as we still have a few more matches to bash out. So be sure to stay tuned. We are going to be hopping into a very quick break, after which we'll be back with our next match, which is going to be heading over on towards Miramar. So be sure to stay tuned, of course. Let us know in the chat which teams you are going to be rooting for. And yeah, I'll try and make sure that maybe we can try and fix a little bit of the lag. Not quite sure if that's going to happen, but I'll give it a bash. Either which way, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys back in a short few minutes. What's up, guys? Welcome back. First match done and dusted, and of course, well, you know what that means. We are going to be hopping into a little bit of those results as well to see where the teams ended up after that very first match and what their performances actually then translated to. So as we hop straight on through, you can see, of course, the players there from Snipers picking up that winner chicken dinner, and with that, dropping a beautiful 34 bomb on us. I mean, that is 19 eliminations coming in alongside their placement points. We got the players there from Outlaws, of course, finishing up in second, and the players then from Cyclone getting into that third. But also then Citizens and ICEDOUT Girls also coming in with those double-digit points. So a very, very good run, at least, for the teams to kick off that very first match.
Yeah, for majority of them as well. Well done. The points spread out nice and evenly, considering it's game number one. A lot to do now for all the teams below the Snipers over there. I mean, them sitting themselves almost double the points far out from the Outlaw Predators. If you can have a look over there, it's going to be a tough one.
Yep, it is going to be a tough one. And of course, as we take a quick look at that second page as well, this is where we can see where the rest of our teams ended up. So we got the Dream Team Glaciers there, finishing up in 9th place, coming in with a total of their 4 points. Of course, YT Gaming picking up 3 points as well. But as we look further down, I mean, ASTERIA, ESPORTS, Fear, Exodus, Three Brothers, Syndicate, as well as Search and Destroy, having a little bit of a tough run. But of course, as we know, Search and Destroy, they went in this last match. So, no surprise to see the results coming in on that lovely bubble as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people, or the players rather, they do need to find themselves now to get themselves into their top positions, get some eliminations, because guess what? A quarter of the games is already done and dusted. So there's not that many games left over. Each game counts that much. So if we're looking at the table that we're looking at now, these guys, they do need to put a lot more effort. And Miramar would probably be that place. Going to be exciting to see what they decide to do. Looking at Dream Team, YT, ASTERIA, all of them, Fear, Team Exodus, Three Brothers, as well as Syndicate Esports.
Yeah. And of course, just to remind the viewers what we are looking at, of course, it is going to be the next matchup, as we've been talking about it already. A little bit of that Miramar action already concluded our very first Erangel match. So after Miramar is going to be a bit of time for that jungle action to come through, as well as the teams will get a great opportunity to get up close and sweaty. But what I like about this Miramar setup is the teams now have the opportunity to play a little bit more of that ranged assault, but also utilize the terrain a little bit more. As we know, we've got all these crevices and so on that we have coming through on Miramar, as the terrain is kind of set up in that way. And it does allow the players to really sneak their way through and get themselves situated and potentially come up into a little bit more of an advantageous position with regards to where their opponents are positioned.
Indeed, there will be a lot more options this time around. We do know that is, like you said, what Miramar offers the players. There's a little bit more cover, more distance as well between the players. So settling in within that final zones, it might just be a little bit easier this time around. So it will be fun to see how many teams find themselves within this final circles as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a little bit of strategic positioning coming through here, as the teams will have a great chance to just try and see what they can make happen with this terrain. But I mean, if we look at the teams that we have that are participating, which out of these are, in your opinion, teams that could be performing quite well, looking at a map like Miramar, for instance?
Yes, okay. So obviously, my YT Gaming, I expect them to come hard in game number 2 over here. They did not have a good game in game number 1, and I don't think it doesn't matter what the map is. I expect to see a little bit more of them coming out from Slime for KT as well. They didn't get themselves into the top positions. I mean, we saw their abilities, the elimination coming through from them as well. Just another display of that should get them up there within that top 3 positions, maybe even as well. It is up for grabs still, as well as I'm going to put a shout out to the Syndicate team. What a display they had there at the beginning of game number 1. Going the long gameplay and coming out victors of that first battle that they had.
Yeah, well, so there's gonna be somewhat to look at as we look to see what the teams will be bringing to the battlefield, getting into a little bit of this desert action. Of course, everyone has just popped out on towards the map, so that means we are a few seconds out before we start heading over in towards our flight path to get a bit of an idea what it is that these teams will have to work with as they start making their way on through. But I mean, this is where it gets interesting, right? So we've got just over a minute left on the clock now. What are your predictions coming in with regards to that flight path? Are you expecting anything crazy to happen here, or are we just hoping for, kind of the usual, slightly off-center kind of flight path over on Miramar?
Yeah, Miramar is going to be a difficult one to get because we know how huge the map is. It's going to be, well, we have just over 50 seconds remaining until that flight pass shows exactly itself to us. When it comes to Miramar DK, it's a difficult one to foretell exactly what can happen. But either way, it's going to be tough because we know Miramar is a huge map, lots of places to land. You can sort yourself out, not worrying about other teams. That's just the availability of all the places that you can land. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be an interesting one. But all we can do for now is just wait and see what the teams are going to be doing to see, if anything crazy is going to be coming through, and whether or not any teams are going to be trying to maybe bring in a bit of that upset, right? As we know, our first match already done and dusted, and that kind of sets the bar moving into this event. So I mean, the snipers, absolutely phenomenal performance, 19 eliminations coming through. Now they got to look to either replicate that or look to see if anyone else could maybe step up, looking to bring in a bit of that upset.
Yeah, I mean, if I put myself in sniper shoes after that brilliant performance, they can take it easy a little bit now with game number 2. Looking also, it will serve them well as well because they can find themselves in a top 3 positions a little bit easier, not worrying about the eliminations. They've got 19 under the belt. They've got a double digit score, doubling their points as well from place number 2. So I'm expecting a little bit of a less of a aggressive gameplay from Snipes, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're going all out tonight here.
Yep, they could be, all right? They could be looking to go, pretty crazy and just go absolutely insane with the action. But as we know, only time will tell what these players are going to be bringing through for us. Who's going to be the one to step up and step out and, go absolutely cray-cray. But yeah, who knows? It could be swinging either which way. A very southern flight path, though. So that does, bring a few interesting developments alongside with it. And of course, we do see a few teams already moving straight up in towards that Impala position as well. So, several options up towards the north as to where these teams can go. So expecting a little bit of insanity and a little bit of hot and heated engagements to come through over on towards Impala itself.
Yeah. I mean, we have the snipers there rolling the dice, looking like they wanted to go first out of the plane. And they actually met up with MW over here that is almost wanted, as well as the Ice Ladies. They're going to do some final very earlier. So luckily for snipers, they don't find themselves in that party that's happening down up there in Impala.
Yeah, the Ice Ladies, you say, right? That's an interesting take on the name. But of course, speaking about the Ice Ladies, here we are looking straight at what Joji is going to be bringing on through as they also now get ready for a little bit of that positional play. I mean, you already said the players there from Almost Wanted, just positioned up ahead of them. So it is going to be a little bit of a tricky position for 3 teams sharing this location up in towards Impala. But, I'm pretty sure they'll play nice, at least in the beginning. Looking to just, get some decent performances in. And they also need to try and alleviate a little bit of that pressure coming through as well, right? There's nothing worse than trying to contain against so many other teams held up in the same location. But with that, already we do see Souza, going down. And now it's up to Joji to try and see if they could fend off a potential rush as the plays here from Almost Wanted. Oh, beautiful hit coming right there onto Boy. Down he goes. And almost Joji picks up that confirmation.
Oh, there we go. Confirmation coming in. If we're looking at the ICEDOUT girls, also with Erza over there firing in shots, they're getting one though down, so that allows Erza to push in a little bit forward. MW Most Wanted who almost wanted a little bit in trouble here with Erza getting eliminated now, with Sniper Zaid taking that elimination to the team. MW also brilliantly situated all the way at the back there, but needs to come in either by vehicle, but it might just be too late. We also have Sniper pulling out from the western side of MW, trying to be sneaky. It is Zaxi. The rest of the team, they do need to pull up and join in on the fun, and action was happening over here at Impala.
Yeah, Impala definitely a little bit hot and sweaty, as we can see. A few plays now coming through. Joji keeping a very watchful eye here, definitely trying to kind of play this one out as best they can and not wanting to get into the pressure play just yet. But it is going to be Zaxi now on the opposite end, coming forward with a beautiful nade, picking up that Elam. With that, picks up the second one. And with that, the players there from Almost Wanted having a little bit of a tough run, as we can see. Their final remaining player now opting for that vehicle, instead trying to get themselves, into a little bit more of a favorable kind of setup. Because ideally, I mean, we would have liked to see that come through a little bit earlier on, right? Instead of waiting till, three-quarters of your team have already been kind of, dealt with before starting to rotate out.
Yeah. You don't want to. You don't want that to happen, but you know what? It is PUBG Mobile. That is the beauty of it as well. You have one player remaining. He can go play hide and seek for the rest of the game and try and get that 15 points towards the end.
Oh. Yeah. No, I was just like trying to breathe a sigh of relief, as you know, the teams are going through a very similar kind of situation.
We're looking at Pietra Travel. Oh, there we go. Back to Sniper Zaxi. So they are getting in the vehicle now and looking to most probably catch up on the ladies from ICE, or maybe find themselves more central. Who knows? They are heading, looking like they. Let's have a look here. They're on the road. They're on the road. That's for sure.
Yep. On the road again, right? That is where they are.
Yeah.
Just trying to see if they can find a decent position to maybe call home.
It's an interesting. It's an interesting zone.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting zone as we take a quick look at that, all the way over on towards that far western side. Several teams still trying to trickle their way on in, but again, a lot of open space between these teams. So I'm not expecting any chaos to come through just yet.
Not at all. I mean, if we look at all the way on the western side, I was speaking about that earlier. We have YT Gaming. We expecting a little bit more of them, not a lot of elims or points coming their way, with 3 in total, I believe it was. And looking like they are going for the long gameplay, choosing or opting for Montenubo, getting themselves sorted nice and looted, as well as 4KT in the same bottle as them. Dreamteam also joining them at Valdemar, so they will be also having a little bit of a tough time if the teams decide to hold it down on the next one. It might not be as easy as they think it would be to get into the snake zone for them.
Yeah, it is going to take a little bit of work, but I'm not too worried. I mean, especially looking at a team like YT, they could very comfortably take a more northern rotation and, come in towards, in between like Hacienda del Patron and Al Azahar, kind of use that region. But of course, they also don't have the information that we have. They can't see what it is that we are seeing. So it's going to be a little bit of a blindish kind of play for these teams to try and get themselves situated moving in towards this next phase.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to go into it blind. There is no reading the map and looking at the map with where the players are. You've got to go into it with real-time information. And yeah, the best choice, hopefully for them, if they can get themselves up north, they would have made the best decision over there. But if they come in towards Picado, Los Leones, even on that Picado between there, a couple of clusters happening over there, a couple of shots coming in as well, with the guys from ICE, or the lady from ICE getting the knock on Eilish over there. Nicely done.
Pretty amazing play coming through there, as well as we did see Nix now. Just finding a quick, easy play right there. So one down, a few more to go. But I mean, it is a little bit of a bumpy road now for, the ICEDOUT girls here to try and make a bit of a play here. They do have a team situated not too far from them, as we take a quick look at that map once again, just to get a bit of a sense as to where these teams find themselves. Still a few teams spread out over on towards that western side. But, I mean, take into consideration that the zone is partially over on towards the water as well, so they already have, somewhat limited playable area. I'm curious to see whether or not we're going to have a lot of teams move closer on towards that Los Leones position.
Yep, that would be the place to be, I would say. I myself personally would not want to find myself in Los Leones with all these players, with all these buildings, with all this cover, the capabilities of how they do a rush. No, no Los Leones for me, DK. I would probably be more on the line of Mr. Flo out there playing hide and seek.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of plays to try and make. As you can see, also the three brothers now in hot pursuit, coming up behind the players here from Fear. Fear already having their kind of position set up on the very edge of zone, and with that, it is going to be Outcast now coming under fire as the rush continues to come on through. Team's going to be looking to see if they can find any potential openings to play as the zone now just centers up on itself, but up comes the rush. Schnitz now coming in for the confirmation. With that, it is Outcast down for the count. The rest of the team here from Fear now trying to just come in with a little bit of that repayment, but it is going to be Swags now getting traded down as Schnitz now steps up. Beautiful sprays. And, of course, the players here from Three Brothers really bringing in such a tight play.
Nicely done. That is what I'm expecting from them tonight as well. Coming in with a couple of eliminations to them. They do need to watch out now for the boys from Cloud as they are taking shots from the back. And that puts the Three Brothers in a sticky situation with all three brothers down. The fourth one is okay though. DK Mr. True over there with the bolt action. He's quite far out. But I mean, what a sticky situation and what brilliant gameplay. Timing to perfection. It is the boys from Cloud. Is it Cloud?
No. It's Cyclone
no.
Shield, but it's fine. It's got the same letters in there somewhere. But of course, it's going to be True now, trying to quickly reposition themselves, trying to get out of that that hot situation that we just saw on the very edge of that zone. Meanwhile, there's still several players positioned behind them. So, nothing really is going to be clearing up just yet as we are looking to see if we can hop into a little bit more of the action as True here now continues to advance further and further up in it towards the zone. Meanwhile, it is going to be Tratra coming in with a little bit of a tra, looking to see if they can, maybe sneak in an elimination here or there. But the rest of the team also just holding up quite nicely here. The zone, however, is going to be closing on through. So Fear, they will have to turn their attention to getting themselves now back in towards this next zone.
That is definitely the next step for them. Well, the guys from Cyclone decided to leave. They got what they came for. They got a couple eliminations to the name, a total of 2. In fact, the Three Brothers also taking a big hit earlier on. And everybody now deciding, okay, battle's done. Let's get into the zone. Before the guys, I mean, we do have Dream Team as well as EXC. Number 8, that would be Team Exodus. They need to make their way in by zone. And yeah, luckily for them, the battle is done and dusted over there in the field.
Yep. At least, that they can rest somewhat easier, knowing already that, there's not too much to still try and deal with. Of course, we can see the players here from Dream Team still sitting on 3 players up, but not quite sure what their approach is coming in here. They are, however, as you've mentioned, going up against the players from Exodus. So, Lucid, Stark, and the rest of the crew, they're going to have to try and find a way to get past the players here from Exodus. Exodus, they also don't seem to be in too much of a hurry to get themselves back in towards that zone.
Yeah, they're hunting Lucid Stark right over now. It's going to be a tough one for Lucid Stark to get out of the situation. Here comes Mana and Kunai leading the line across at the back. And there we go. The knock comes in eventually. Lucid Stark will get taken out. There we go. Yep. I saw that one coming a while back. It is Meta, I believe, that gets the elimination to the name. And that gets them a 2 in total for game number 2. I guess he needs to get revived here as quick as possible, though.
Yeah. I mean, a very worrying approach coming through there. From Dream Team, as you do have Chris and Archer already much further away ahead of where their teammate had fallen down. But speaking about fallen down, I mean, it is also now potentially the players here from Whitey that could be looking to pick up a few players that, are caught up on the high ground and could see themselves maybe sliding down this hillside. Manfella, of course, is going to be holding up right along that hillside with the spray now coming through on towards Andrew. It is now up to Professor to see if you can rejoin with the rest of the team, and they're going to continue now to make their way further up in towards the zone. So far, we haven't seen any of those elims come through onto the side here of Apex, as we can see currently still sitting on, you know, a lovely 0 there to their name. So they're going to have to try and see if they could maybe find a few of those eliminations. Because as we know, right, the teams are going to be playing for those top 3 slots. That's where the money's at, and that's also where the seeding is to go in towards the continental finals.
Yeah, indeed. It's well done once again to getting that one elimination blank. They did it. I think they heard us, DK. Somehow they went up north, and now, I mean, they are looking like they are in a very good position over now, making their way through. Minas Generales, Bendita will be up next. Not much to deal with at the moment, but a lot of the teams also still need to get themselves situated within the next zone, and it looks like it's going to be tight. A little bit of hills to work with as well. Can go either way. We have Los Leones as well up in Grant over there. Lots of buildings. Where would you go, DK, in this next zone?
High ground, right there on that eastern side of Los Leones. We've seen that high ground position being super favorable. I mean, it's great vantage point, and it really allows you to you know, to a certain extent kind of funnel the teams into a little bit of a hot spot. So yeah, that's ideally where I would be expecting teams to move in, and I'm quite sure whoever does decide to move in towards that region could also find themselves in a very favorable kind of setup, right? Because of exactly what I said now, you know, having that height advantage. And looking at what we have, I mean, 3 brothers already in a really beautiful setup there, but then also the players then from the Outlaw Predators also venturing out on towards that high ground. So there's several great angles already being occupied by these teams. So all they got to do now is just look to see if they can maybe follow through and close it up. Speaking about closing it up, it is going to be Whitey and the Snipers now getting into a little bit of that back and forth with Zuxi getting traded. It is now Marco also getting picked up. Citizen X down for the count as well. So with that, it all now turns to the final remaining player for the Snipers. Not quite sure if Zaid is going to be able to get it done. And with that, we do see Rick now just coming in with a beautiful hit as they do send the players there from the Snipers right back into the lobby. But again, that third-party role coming on in, it is going to be the players there from ASTERIA Esports. Also now just looking to push a little bit further on towards that northern side.
Magnificent there from Whitey, just bringing their overwhelming presence upon the guys from, who was that in first place? That was Snipers, and that's going to be a big upset for them, finding themselves in 15th position, and they were looking probably to get themselves again in that top 3, so to get that points and to stay within that, the range between first and second place to keep that distance. But now, for the taking, I like it. The game is on here, top 3. Tonight.
Yep, and it's also now going to be the players here from Dream Team looking to catch up to that zone once again. A little bit of an interesting play that they found themselves in. I mean, they were just right there, right next to the players from Citizens. But strangely enough, Citizens, they didn't take any of those engagements, right? They were just, you know, keeping their distance, keeping themselves quiet, ensuring that they can just maybe just sneak around a little while longer. So, yeah, I mean, maybe that could come back to bite them in the butt a little bit later on. We're not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see what it is that these teams bring for us. But also, we do see the players from the side there of Whitey looking to clear up their position on the zone now, just laying the fire in towards Apex. So you can see Blessin already getting traded. But that was actually one of the players from Syndicate sneaking in. A beautiful play. Of course, a little bit further on, it is also then the players from Dream Team meeting their end. As the hits came in once again, the players there from Exodus finding those angles. We got Fear now also still trying to catch on through. However, Whitey still going to be pushing in. A little bit of a tricky rotation, sneaking in between so many other teams. We did see Master also coming down, and it is now going to be the Outlaw Predators just positioned up on the hill right above Whitey's position.
It is a tough one no matter which way you decide to come into the zone. Unless you 4KT over there on the west, it's going to be a difficult one. Whitey now deciding to make their move as one of the players just got knocked. I'm not sure if he is eliminated as yet. No, he's getting himself revived. He's managed to stay blocked over here. And that will be okay there. Nicely done. Oh! And Nate coming through. Manipula and Maestre eating the grenade as Rocky gets that one in over there. Whitey trading shots. back at Black, I believe it is. And it's a tough one over here. As Rocky now pulling up, trying to make sure that they can send them back to the lobby. It is a Maestre that gets sent back to the lobby. Only one side over here. Is Rocky doing a number on them.
But I mean, Rick also just trying to lay down a lot of these smokes now, trying to see if they could maybe sneak up on towards Manfilas there. On the opposite end, we do see the players there from Fear also looking to push a little bit further forward, looking for a potential angle to get themselves situated back in towards the zone. But we still have 12 teams remaining, so it is going to be a pretty tough call for these teams to get themselves secured indecently. As you can see, Rick now trying to fend off the advances coming through. It is up to Rick and Scully, or Scully, whichever way you want to go for that, trying to see if they can make a bit of a play and maybe get that res back up in towards Manfilas. Meanwhile, on the opposite end, is going to be the players here from Citizens also now coming through on that eastern side. So I mean, we do see several teams already having a few hits being dealt their way. Not a lot of players have really made their way all the way back. We did have a few of those reses being brought in as well. But as we look at where that zone has gone, take a little bit of a swing down towards the southern side. And this is where it looks absolutely beautiful, especially now for the players there from Exodus, right? Still being on the high ground, but you can see that road and that little valley coming in as well. So they are going to have to definitely be on the aggression there to ensure that they are able to secure that position.
Indeed, they will be happy. They'll be smiling all the way with the next zone, as well as the Citizens. They do have the entire east for themselves. 4KT also, we're looking at Storm, just keeping the west side still. Needs to call these players to come up there because the brilliant gameplay coming through by the Outlaw Predators. I've been watching them the entire night, and just the way they find themselves in the next zone, looking like a little bit of deja vu. Can they find themselves again? They're finding it a little bit difficult though. Looking for that high ground as a 99 steroids, finds himself up amongst Storm from 4KT, as well as two from the three brothers on the top of the lobby here.
Yeah, so all it's sort of going to come down to now is what these positions will bring through for these teams, as they could maybe make a bit of a play. Right, it is now, of course, as you said, Slime up on that high ground, trying to rain down a little bit of terror, trying to light it up with those nades that they've got in their possession. But also on the opposite end, it's still going to be the players here from Citizen looking to apply their own bit of pressure. We did see 007 now having a bit of a trade come in their direction. So it is up to the teams once again to get these positions locked in. Even the players here from Syndicate also going to be looking to push up. They're, of course, pulling in right here alongside the players from Slime. As we can see, the players from Outlaw Predators holding their position. Storm with a little bit of an aid. AJ trying to wrap that vehicle as far around as they possibly can. So a very spread out approach coming in, but still 9 teams, 30 players alive. It is going to be a very difficult region to defend now.
Yeah. Everybody on the top of the hill over here defending. We're looking at 4KT's hill over there with 3 brothers, as well as be fighting for the optimal position, like you said, to have that high ground outside in Los Angeles. That would be the best spot. White also just deciding to go a little bit slow, let the guys do the rushing into the zone, and we will come in a little bit later. That's exactly what they are doing, coming from behind. Well, it looks like that decision they are making is serving them well over there. Well, it's a west side battle and an east side battle happening right now in the last 9 teams.
Yeah, it is going to be Storm now from Slime trying to keep the tensions high. As you can see, a lot of teams held up in the vicinity. I mean, almost the entire lobby just spread out ahead. So it is going to be up to Storm now to see if they can leverage this high ground, as they still need to get off of here and get themselves repositioned back in towards this next phase. But that is where the problem is going to come through, because we can see so many other teams already being situated within that zone. Storm now getting spotted out on the high position. No surprise really to see the damage just getting laid on thick. And it also then going to be the players here from the side of Syndicate, also looking to defend their own potential angle, looking to push in from the north. As you can see, it is pretty contested here, as we still have 8 teams and 23 players alive.
Yeah, the Outlaw Predators just got wiped now. Their 4KT gets to add that 4 eliminations to their name. Cloud also making their way down below, as well as we saw a little bit of a fight breaking out on the eastern side of the map with a YT sink in there as well. But I think they just got taken out now as well at the very same time. Here, just trying to block White from getting into the next zone, but they're finding it a little bit difficult here because, I mean, on the one hand, we have Stormfake 4KT firing in shots from a distance, just not allowing them to fully move. King also. Ooh, that was a close one. That was a close one. He has the M762 though. He can do some damage, but unfortunately, this was a 2v1 situation. It is YT that destroys over there. Well done.
Yeah, some pretty crazy devastation coming in here once again as the teams continue to roll on through. It is going to be Storm now out in the open, looking to see if they can find a potential opening to play through. As you know, it's such an insane zone. Look at the spacing of these players coming through. I mean, almost everyone currently crammed up in towards that zone. It is going to be Storm now, continuing with the effort, looking to just put in a bit of that spray. But as you can see, the players from Exodus just held up right alongside them. With that, it is going to be the players from Cyclone Shield bringing in the demise of Storm. It is still up to Pronto and Plaza to see if they can make a stand up on the high ground. Plaza coming under fire. Pronto trying to bring in that support of fire. We do see the Citizens also just inching their way in towards that zone. As we can see 11 now just huddling down, trying to stay out of harm's way. But it is going to be Pronto on the opposite end, coming under fire. Out comes that rush now. Plaza trying to lay it down, but the third parties are coming in as the players there from Cyclone just lay it down. Beautiful assist, and of course it is going to be Exodus landing that final blow. Down to only 4 teams we go. Citizens coming in with a little bit more of a calculated approach, just hanging back, waiting for the rest of the lobby to kind of fight it out so they can potentially just come in and sweep it clean, just pick up any of those remaining stragglers.
Yeah, phenomenal gameplay here by Cyclone Shield Esports. Just timing it to perfection, getting to take the boys out 4KT, getting all that eliminations to the name, as well as we're looking at YT taking on a very difficult to deal with Citizens. That's also they've been going for the long game. I mean, we've been looking at them from the very beginning, from the very beginning of the game. They are in the 4th spot. They made it to 4th. They have 2 eliminations. Not much battle experience here within game number 2. YT will probably be looking for them, trying to search for 11 over here. We have many fellas on the one side, the boys from Cyclone Shield also just chucking that mollies straight towards Exodus. Is not going to be easy because both teams, they do have equal standing when we're looking at the way it looks on top of the hill over here. Not much to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not much to work with here, but it is now going to be the players there from Cyclone Shield on the left-hand side. Still to push in on that western front, and obviously they are contesting against the players here from Exodus. And then on the other end, we've got YT and Citizens. As we see Rick there in the feed coming through with a beautiful hit now on it towards the players from Citizens. You can see Rick now just utilizing this high ground. And it's interesting to see these teams split up like this, right? Of course, 007 also on the very edge, a little bit cautious, right? Doesn't want to move out, but such a great position coming through there from YT. And I mean, even the players here from Cyclone also just trying to inch their way forward. Manny waiting for that opportunity, trying to see if they can get it up on towards Kunai. They got to be careful because both these teams are still in a position where they can bring in some very devastating performances.
Yeah, everybody just holding their ground, making sure that nobody can enter. I mean, if you were mentioning 007 down below over there, just making life that much difficult for Mr. Manifel and Skull as well. Just not allowing them to push down below and saying to them, you stay where you are, the next zone, then we can maybe make moves. Also looking at Mr. Manny over here, Cloud. Keep on saying Cloud from Cyclone. Doing a brilliant job as well. Everybody in the top 4 right now, what a brilliant performance.
Yeah, they're definitely, trying to play this one as calculated as they possibly can. But we know at the end of the day, it's only going to be one team walking away with that winner chicken dinner. And of course, to give you a bit of idea just how crazy this is and where these teams currently are situated, we can take a little bit of a look to see what they are doing here, right? So we got the players from Exodus holding on towards that western position. We can see the players then from Cyclone up on the top. And then, of course, Citizens and YT just held up on the edge. But everyone being a little bit cautious, right? No one wants to be the next team to go, right? They want to try and fight it out for those placement points. They want to try and outlast each other as best they can. But as you can see, 11 holding on for dear life. a very, very challenging position. Fortunately, 11 is not going to be the only one left for their team, but they have to be cautious. We got Big Ho also there. But now, up comes that rush. The zone is going to force them even further on towards each other. 007 trying to move in, but Manfilas comes in. And with that, reduces Citizens down to 3. And now the teams are really finding themselves in quite the sticky spot. It is going to be Cyclone also now trying to wrap up their position. Looking to potentially push right through the team there from Exodus. But Exodus now on the opposite end coming under fire as Citizens are making difficult. But up goes Manny jumping down. And with that, it is going to be Cyclone getting sent away. Exodus now keeping a very watchful eye there on YT. Ghost is the last hope for the team. Oh, but up comes the hit as it's a very quick and swift play coming in. It is Big Ho also now getting taken right on down. And with that, it is going to be that winner chicken dinner getting awarded straight on to the players there from YT Gaming, picking up 16 eliminations along the way. Super aggressive performance coming in from them. Of course, Citizens taking that second place with 4. And then we've got the team there from Exodus finishing up in 3rd position, but also then finding a decent amount of eliminations, right? 9 to their name. A very good run coming in for them. Of course, the players there from Cyclone Shield finishing on 4. So you can see coming in with those 6 eliminations. And then as well, we got the players from Slime 4KT coming in with that 5th place for elims to their name. We're going to be scrolling down just a little bit further to see where the teams ended up and how many elims they got. We got Tra coming in there with 4 for the team. And also we've got, the rest of the lobby looking a little bit scarce with regards to those elims. I mean, Nyx at least being able to find 2, and of course Zuxi and Zaid also picking up a few of those trades before they too started making their way back up in towards the lobby. But of course, at the end of the day, it is going to be our stars of the match, which is going to be Rick there from YT Gaming coming in with the most eliminations, sitting on 9, which is absolutely insane. Of course, it is going to be 11 from Citizens being our best companion, and Manfilas then also from YT Gaming there, landing the final blow to end off the match. So again, really good showing coming through from these teams. But now, I mean, Vector, this is where, we've already concluded half of our matches for the day, right? We only have 2 more to go. Next up is going to be a little bit of that Sandog action, after which we're going to be returning right back onto your angle to wrap up the day.
Yeah, that's going to be my favorite. So you asked me earlier on before the game started what's going to be my favorite map. Be honest with it, is Sanok, because I mean we love the terrain, we love the CQC action that happens over there. It's quick, it's fast. Yeah, and I need to say well done to YT. We expected a lot from them, and they brought it through in game number 2, and that just puts it. I'm very interested to see how the log looks. See that before game number 3 starts.
Yeah, the log is definitely not one of those that's floating down the river, but we're going to be seeing that right after the break. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be back with you guys in a short few minutes to get into our 3rd match as well as the overall rankings. So see you guys back in a bit.
So.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to hop straight back into the action. I mean, I'm trying my ventriloquist move out here, right? So you'll hear me before you see me saying or making those sounds. So I can go like, hi, right? And then all these things kind of work out at their own pace here. But of course, we're back after our second match. So we are going to be hopping straight over in towards our standings to see where these teams find themselves after that second game being done and dusted. Of course, as we can see there, of course, we've already gone through Erangel. We've already gone through a little bit of that Miramar action as well, as we just had that happening on the screen. But of course, essentially, we want to get into our overall standings, which is going to be the players there from Snipers, now sitting on a grand total of 37, bringing in some really good performances. And of course, as we know, Whitey Gaming picking up that winner chicken dinner as well, only 3 points behind them. So it's going to be a pretty tight run to see which will be our final 3 teams moving through in towards that next phase. And I mean, I'm loving this though, right? Victor, I mean, the team's raking it super contentious. So there's no one team so far that's been having an absolutely runaway performance. I mean, Snipers, they've been making it difficult for anyone to catch them so far. But definitely, it's looking very balanced. As we can see, even, I mean, Slime's sitting on 11 elims. We got Cyclone on 12. We got Whitey on 17. We got the players then from Snipers sitting on 22. So some very impressive numbers across the board. And of course, we have to take a look at that second page as well, just to get a bit of an idea as to where the teams are. So, of course, Fear situated up in 9th. Then we've got Almost Wanted, Team Apex, Syndicate, the Three Brothers, Dream Team Glacier, as well as the players then from ASTERIA Esports and Search and Destroy. Well, Search and Destroy, they are still searching. They have not stepped up to destroy anything just yet.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if the other teams up there are able to replicate exactly what the Snipers and YT Gaming did, it is possible. They can still catch. I mean, if you have a look at the total points there of Snipers and YT, they are in the 30s, and that's not that far out. Even with Cyclone Shield, Citizens, Team Exodus, they don't even need to put up that a good performance to get up there.
Yeah. So that's what's going to make this final 2 games. It's going to be very tight, right? And as we know on Sanok, that's an opportunity for teams to step up, get a little bit more aggressive due to the CQC, and they can then utilize that to potentially convert a few more points, and maybe change up their current positioning with regards to the overall rankings. But especially looking at this first page, it's not outside the realm of possibilities for a team like the Outlaw Predators, for instance, to catapult themselves up into the lead, right? Because if they drop a 30 bomb, that could be exactly what we could see happening for them. The same, of course, can be said for the players there from Slime. And I mean, I'd even go so far as to say we could see that for the ICEDOUT girls as well. But of course, all they got to do now is step up and deliver on that front.
Indeed, once you find yourself in the top half of the log, you are halfway there, PK. So I thought girls, I would definitely put them in the mix as well. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. It is going to be Sanok CQC battles all day. So you don't want to find yourself in a team. But if you want to take down a team and find yourself within that top 3, you're probably going to hope that you can find yourself amongst the Snipers, YT Gaming. Deal a little bit of disappointment to them so that they cannot stretch that gap any further, so that you can actually catch up to them.
Yeah, well, that is what they got to try and have to do, is trying to see if they can maybe get any of that happening and maybe stretch it out, as you've mentioned. But of course, speaking about stretching it out, the teams now have an opportunity here to stretch their legs a little bit, as we know, right? Flight path Sanok, not too important, as it still allows teams to reach pretty much anywhere on this map. However, though, what's going to be more important will, of course, be where that first initial zone is going to be taking us. We can see already a lot of players starting to make their way on down, everyone breaking off, heading off in their respective directions. But this is where we also then get to see is if we're going to be having any hot drop action coming through. As we know, that is sometimes a thing over on Sanok.
Yeah, you know what, it is the thing when it comes to these leagues with the cash money up for grabs. It begs the question, do I rather go for the long game play? Do I try to get myself in the top 3 positions with that amount of points that's up for grabs? Also, if you get yourself in the top 3, normally the eliminations just come along with that as well, DK. So it's a tough decision to make. Majority of the teams already also
Well, we do have a bit of a position coming up in towards Painan with the players there from the side of Three Brothers and, of course, the team then from Syndicate. So there's already a little bit of contention coming through on that front. Then, of course, we can see up towards the north there in Hatin. It is going to be also a little bit of an interesting play coming through as we've got the snipers and the players there from Dream Team, but also up in towards Boot Camp. We've got a few potential plays to be making there. Of course, speaking about that first bit of action, it is going to be the team now from Syndicate. We already did see those first few eliminations coming through as they are going up against the players here from Three Brothers. But not quite sure whether or not Syndicate is actually going to be able to get these angles locked on in. I mean, there's still 4 of them left. A lot of positions to try and play here. So I'm not quite sure what is going to be coming in from this one. Vector, are you there? No, the number you've dialed is not available at present. Please try again later. All right, so Vector will be back with us shortly, I assume. Of course, for now, we are going to be looking to see... Ooh, there we go. See, I said shortly he'll be back, and back he comes. Meanwhile, we still have the players here from Syndicate now getting ready for a little bit of that heated action as they are now rushing on towards the Three Brothers, looking to see if they can pick up a few of these early game eliminations. But with that, ooh, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy start as we do see Hitman also now getting taken down. Up comes that rush, trying to get that entry point into this little passageway. It is AJ now trying to just play in between these mannequins. Ooh, but it is going to be DBS action. Oh, takes out the Oompy, and with that, it is going to be Nexus right down for the count.
Oh, excellent gameplay there by AJ. It was a 50-50 situation. Both rocking the DBS and then finally getting the knock with the UMP. What an OP that is. I mean, a lot of players also opting for the weapon nowadays. So it's become that much popular as I put it up there with the M4 as well.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have seen a little bit of a meta change, right? If I could be as bold to say that. But speaking about meta change, right, it is going to be the players here from Exodus also now looking to step up into the action. We already had that engagement with the players there from Three Brothers coming through. But now, with the players here from Exodus also looking to get a slice of that pie, it is a nice way to see the lobby really starting to heat up as, we've already lost our first team. At least True was able to pick up at least one elimination. But now, it's up to the players here from Syndicate to see if they can continue with their efforts, right? Jude now having to rush over to AJ to get that race, but it's not going to be enough as it is an absolutely phenomenal knock and spray coming in there. And with that, it is going to be the end, at least for the players of the Syndicate. But now, speaking about players, bring in some really good positionings, right? We see the players here from Dream Team and the snipers all the way up in towards Hatin, very northern position. But it does seem like Dream Team is going to be taking this one a little bit more cautiously, not going to be rushing out there unnecessarily.
Yeah, that would be the plan here for Dream Team. They have the opportunity. It is there for the taking. If there's a team that you want to get eliminated, to help your way to get into the top 3, it's going to be snipers. So it's going to be interesting to see how they actually take this battle on. We do have in one compound Stark over here, as well as who's his teammate right next to him. I just need to get it's Chris now jumping out of the window as well, not too far out. They are just trying to hold it down. Storm with Citizen from snipers. Just next door, knocking on the door, trying to find a when can we make that next movement.
Yeah, well, that could probably, result in a really bad knock-knock joke. I'm just saying. But, speaking about knock-knock, it is going to be Chris now looking for change on the floor there as it fell right as they were getting rushed. But now, I mean, snipers, they've been on a little bit of a dominating run so far, as we did see them sitting at the top of the log. All they got to do now is move in, swiftly deal with Dream Team, and all they can do then is to scroll further in towards those zones. But it is now going to be a little bit of that pressure coming through. It is going to be Storm now trying to defend the honors there as the rushes come on in. Storm with a quick reposition, trying to get back and put a little bit of distance in between them. We got Archer also now just holding a bit of an off angle, but I mean, Archer's just sitting here just looking at their teammates and getting absolutely obliterated. Beautiful spray though coming on towards Zuxi.
Yeah, nicely done. Eventually, Archer does actually get in on the battle from a distance. They're getting the knock on one of them. I mean, probably should have actually come in for the rest of the knocks and finish up Sniper, but instead they do regroup That's just Archer and Storm now. They lost the other two players. But Snipers back up on their feet and they do have the advantage once more again here at high 10 as the Blue Zone also decides to come in.
Yeah, now it's all going to be down to getting that timing sorted out as the players here from Dream Team have a little bit of running to do. And speaking about running, it is going to be the players from Fear also now running themselves in towards that by none position. Exodus held up right in front of them. So it's not going to be smooth sailing. But in fact, both these teams have actually been positioned here for quite some time. Just having a little bit of a look at each other. And, you know, nothing too drastic has come from that. But of course, if we look on towards the zone, we're going to be waiting to see where this next phase will be taking us. This blue zone, it's going to be closing on through. As we know, Sanhok doesn't have, you know, super aggressive zone shifts. And with the shift now making its way a little bit closer on towards boot camp, but still being inclusive of by none, that's going to be allowing a lot of these kind of plays to kind of take place within the zone. And I'm also looking at, you know, that eastern side where we do see the players there from Cyclone Shield, and they do have a few visitors heading up right behind them, of course, as we know, right? That is going to be almost wanted.
They are literally on their backs over here. I like what you said about what's happening in Finance. So they will be able to just take their time, keep the building for themselves as well. A couple of knocks coming through there with the Roach getting Vitinho. Dan Brown is also down. Ooh, it's going to be a tough one. Might just get a squad wipe here. MW Flow getting the shots in now with Fagboy coming in. Cyclone Shield Esports are up for grabs here. Fagboy can get it, but he decides to go for the revive on his teammate. Flow that buys him the time that he can maybe he can get a little bit of a rotation in on there, but it's not going to be an easy job because none of the guys from, well, there they go, they're back on feet again. The boys from Silent Shield just looking on them, waiting for them to come in because they need to get into the zone. They do have the upper hand in this little bit of a situation that they find themselves in against MW.
Yep. I mean, they've got the edge of the zone right up ahead of them, so they're in a position where they can just sit and apply a little bit of pressure on towards the team there, you know. Almost wanted. They're going to have to really find a good approach to get themselves back in towards the zone. We can see, you know, Vitinho also just trying to decide whether or not they're going to dare push away from this rock, utilizing the hard cover to try and get a bit of that wrap around approach going. And of course, you know, it's still early phases. Still in that second phase, we do see that blue zone getting ready to start closing on through. So, you know, they can actually afford to ride that blue storm a little bit longer instead of having to be too concerned with that position. Meanwhile, it is going to be Boy now who has actually ventured up right here alongside Danny Brown and Manny. So, Flo and Boy really sneaking in those angles. We do see the hits now finding their way on in. Boy does pick up that trade on towards Manny. But will they be able to continue with this push? Now up comes Flo, looking for that that confirmation to get locked in. Danny going to be making a bit of a dash, looking for a quick reposition further down the hillside. Meanwhile, the snipers also going to be fighting a little bit of pressure on towards themselves. This Dream Team coming in with a little bit of an exchange there. But I'm liking this approach coming through here now from Almost Wanted, right? Taking up good positions. And I'm liking this bit of a leapfrog that they're doing, right? So they send one player up, you know, they put down a few hits, then make sure they can supply, you know, some good cover fire while the rest of the team also starts to position themselves a little bit closer.
Yeah, indeed. We saw Boy over here, he had sights on one of the teammates just trying to get out of trouble there, as many also just crawling around. So it looks like MW got away with it. They find themselves in the zone and things are looking up for them. I don't expect Cyclone to move out of the situation. I expect them to try to get in on the battle. They are trying to get the revive on over there. It looks like it will happen over here with Roshi reviving his teammate Manny. Vitinho also now forming back up with the rest of his teammates over here. Ooh, it's going to be a tough battle for the east side, but luckily for them, they don't have to deal with anyone else. It's just the two teams on the side.
Yeah, that's quite fortunate for them, but it is still going to result in a pretty tough position. We can see a lot of teams now starting to converge on towards that more center zone. Of course, the blue zone also getting ready to pop, and it's going to be Cyclone and Almost Wanted still in a little bit of a standoff. Neither team getting super aggressive, but now with the zone centering up quite nicely on towards them, this is where I'm expecting a little bit of a change up to come, right? I'm expecting either the players there from Almost Wanted to look to get a little bit more aggressive, or even for the players here from Cyclone Shield to look for to do a little bit of a reposition and, just change up their setup because, otherwise it's going to be a really difficult position. They don't have too much information coming in from their current location. So they definitely have
Yeah.
to try and find a way to get more of that info in because as we know, right, it is Sanok, the more info you have, the better it is for your team. But of course, speaking about that, we do have a little bit of a standoff coming in over towards that Pinon position with the players here from Fear keeping a very watchful eye on the players coming through from the Outlaw Predators. So again, both these teams still have to reposition back in towards zone, but with the addition of Exodus here, it's going to be a little bit of a tricky play to make.
Yeah, indeed, they find themselves outside of the zone here in Pinon as well. Fortunately, the next zone is now not up for grabs. If you're looking at Pinon, they need to make their way in. I like what the guys in the center are doing. YT, we've got over there, we've got Team Apex also, as well as Mr. Rocky over here from ASTERIA Esports making their way into game number 3. So we'd like to see a little bit more action from them. 4KT also up in the mix there, so they might just be getting on with a battle with YT. That will be the battle of the night here on this map. I'd like to see that go down. There we go. So we have a couple of players now trying to get outside of Pinon, get into the next zone. This is Fear as well as Exodus. They're not taking each other on though, but they just have one building between each other. Once the next zone, I think they're going to rather just stay within cover over there, wait for the next zone to be decided, and they will be forced to then actually take each other on. But it looks like Neo might just come with a rotation with a little bit of surprise here on the one side though.
Yep, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of that surprise, but, this could actually mean that Exodus is going to find themselves in a very tough position because we can see we have the Outlaw Predators holding over on towards that more southern position. Not in the immediate area, but they are a little bit further away, right? We can see them just there.
Yeah.
But what's now going to be interesting is what is Fear going to be doing here? Because it does seem like Exodus could potentially be distracted by the players from Predators. So this could be a great opportunity now for Fear to get themselves, super close to Exodus. And the moment Exodus starts peeling out of those windows, they can then look to jump to action and, pick up a few of those trades. All right, so now we're just waiting to see where the next bit of action is going to be coming from. The players there, as we can see on the very edge, it is going to be one of the players from the Iced Out goals now getting sent over to the lobby. Thanks to Boy finding those blows coming in towards them there, just nailing that coffin shot. But you can see also now players here from Exodus, they are aware that they are getting pushed on. As you can see, Mena now trying to hold up this position. Looking for a potential play to make it. Up comes a quick dash as the blue zone now starts swooping on through. It's straight into our 4th phase. And now it's up to Exodus to try and get those heads in. But of course, it is going to be a beautiful third-party play as the players from Predators now just look to bring in a few of those long-reaching hits. Now, I mean, Vector, now it's up to Ghost and Kuma to try and make the most of this, of what they've got left in this phase.
Yeah, exactly. That well done on Ghost on getting himself out of that sticky situation. Unfortunately, his teammate Kuma over there just getting knocked over there. And I was looking exactly at the positioning. Once again, the Outlaw Predators impressing with their positioning, just timing everything to perfection. Looking at the battle, what was happening, waiting for them to come out. They knew there were shots coming from there. They knew they would have to deal with it. They also knew they would have to come past their way, and just like that, team number 10 over here, they do get a couple of eliminations to the name, nice and easily from a distance on Senna.
Yeah, it's not every day that you get those long-range engagements coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, Rocky also is going to be rocking it out in the compound, just going to be waiting around to see if Slime could potentially be venturing up towards them, but it's also going to be our friend Ghost here that's finding themselves in a little bit of that hot position as Fear comes rushing on forward with that. It is going to be the end of the road for them. So Fear now on a beautiful rampage, picking up 2 eliminations, and now they start making their way further and further towards that zone. Meanwhile, it is still going to be the players now from Asteria, just holding their position. Not going to be looking to get, super jumpy with what they've got. They're trying to see if they can find a potential angle on towards Pronto or Plaza. But a lot of caution being brought in here. I mean, looking at Zeus and the rest of the team there from Slime, I mean, they super mobile, right? Keeping themselves constantly moving, making sure that they can't get isolated too easily. But of course, as we know, that's not always a possibility. But with that, it also is going to be the players there from YT. Thanks to Mr. Zeus on the peak here, just showing us a little bit of that engagement coming through on towards Snipers. But a beautiful play coming through from Zeus. Picks up one, picks up two. Now it is down to Marco to try and keep it together for the Snipers. Oh, but with that, yep, it is going to be a good night as that blow comes through. And it is going to be Master to land the finishing hit.
Well done. Wow, YT coming in there as well as 4KT just dealing a blow to to the Snipers over there, getting eliminated the second spot. I'm not sure if they even got an elimination or two to their name. Not that much, but that's going to hurt on the leaderboard.
Yeah, it is going to hurt a little bit, but now Storm and the rest of the team here from Slime trying to kind of wrap up this position, trying to deal with the threat coming through here from Whiteys. We can see Rick, Skull, and Master now slowly but steadily trying to find a little bit of a positioning. Master taking a little bit of damage there as well. But no, I mean, this is where I start to worry a little bit about Slime's position. But I mean, Pronto getting themselves a little bit higher up, that could be quite advantageous. We can see those nades now just descending down upon the players here from Whitey and Rick, finding themselves in a very troubling position as the nades continue to roll on through, and it is then the end of the road. Meanwhile, the players from Apex also going to be looking to try and secure themselves a decent position here as they're coming in from that very edge of zone. Several more teams also positioned up ahead of them, as we can see the quarry being somewhat in play. But, I mean, the zone is just touching on towards that northern side. So it is going to be a little bit of a tricky play to make. Already looking at the players there from Cyclone Shield, they've got that eastern position. But as we know, it is low ground, but there's compounds, right? Looking at what the players there from Asteria are bringing in, there's no compounds, but they got the high ground reach. So, I mean, there's several different positions to play in this next zone.
Indeed. And I mean, we even have players in the blue over here and finding themselves in the blue at this point of the game. I'm not too sure what is happening over there with Steroid and a bigger 666 or 666 over there. Well done again on taking fear out Apex now, as they are trying to look like they are trying to get towards 4KT. Fagboy also just holding it down, like you see down below. Not much cover. They need to move. The blue zone is coming. It's pushing. And Fatboy is down, and that is it. He gets eliminated. I believe it is Apex that gets that one. Dan Brown also coming in there, getting the elimination on Vitinho. Apex looking like they are taking a little bit of a heat over here. Also looking brilliantly in the next zone. If I'm looking at the placement, falls nicely on Asteria Esports this time around. So the equality is being dealt throughout the games here, DK.
Yep, definitely a good position to come into. But I'm curious to see what Apex are going to be doing here, because as we can see, they are slightly on the edge of this cliffside, right? With Storm and the rest of the players there from 4KT now just lurking about. So it is a little bit of a stressful situation for them. But also then if we look across the way here, thanks to Kage, we can see, the players from Cyclone Shield also being positioned up here. So that's going to be Roach and Danny on the opposite end. But, of course, it is going to be the players there from Slime also now continuing with a few of those engagement. Asteria also holding up right there alongside Danny. So curious to see if Rocky is going to dare venture away from this rock to potentially find a few of those hits. But, I mean, Danny and Roach, slow and steady approach, right? Coming in, inching their way forward in towards the zone. And we're looking at Storm and the rest of the players here from Slime. They're looking absolutely phenomenal. 9 eliminations to their name. They still have 4 players up. Zeus getting knocked on down, yes, but up comes the rush. And beautiful trade now from Storm as the knock comes through, and they are, of course, able to now just get their teammate back into fighting form. Pronto looking to set up a bit of an anchor point position here. But, I mean, the players now from Apex really getting picked up.
And there we go. It is Andrew, the last survivor for them. And I was looking at team number 6 over here. They find themselves nicely placed, and each teammate having to deal with a different team by themselves. They're doing it really well, mind you. Apex Andrew as well, also just holding it down for Apex. But Plaza for KT is coming up on him. He's at the rock. He has the UMP, and he should get the knock. He without in the open, he's there for the taking, but Plaza for KT just waiting. He's trying to probably get his HP up. I'm too sure. There we go. We got a molly coming in, and they're getting shot from all angles, and eventually gets taken out, and it goes to actually Mr. Rocky over there on top of the hill. 4KT also just ruling the last zone over here. Says we have 4 teams remaining, but you might only see 2 in front of you. That's because the other 2 teams are still outside in the blue. Playing the healing game here, DK. What is going on?
Yeah, Rocky now getting lit on fire. I mean, Slime 4KT having a beautiful controlling position. I mean, if I pull the map back, we can see it is still steroids there from the Outlaw Predators position up in towards Spinun. And of course, then also we've got Begho from the Citizens. Relatively close to Quarry, but I'm not quite sure that they'll be able to do anything from that point. It is now going to be up to Rocky and Black to try and keep the aggression up as they do find that trade on towards Plaza. But now it is going to be a 2v3 engagement here. Let's see whether or not the players here from ASTERIA will be able to get anything done. No easy claps as the players there from Slime just step up and clean the floor. Now it is up to the rest of our players situated out in that blue zone to see if they can maybe survive a little while longer. But, I mean, look at this. Storm and Slime collectively sitting on 13 eliminations in total. That has been an absolutely phenomenal performance coming in from them. Great run.
Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Storm taking the 4, Pronto getting 2, Zeus on the 6, and then Plaza on the 1. The zone will get the last 2 players, obviously. So, I mean, they have time. They can a little bit of picnic on Senap. Why not?
Yep, they can do some victory dancing, as we can see. It is now up to steroids to try and keep it together. Still has about 12 health kits there, so who knows? Maybe they could outlast something, but as we know, they're pretty much secured for that second position.
Yeah, indeed. Also, I mean, looking at the gameplay, I've seen this come through quite a while, where you find yourself stuck, but I don't think they were stuck in the blue zone. They purposely went for that long blue zone healing, trying to heal yourself up and get into the top 2 positions, which they actually managed to do here. So I mean, well done on that as well. You don't see that every day, but something difficult to pull off, but they managed to do that here.
Yeah, we could be sitting here for a little bit though, right? I mean, steroids definitely going to try and use up all 7 of those medkits.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. Can we actually check the amount of medkits that I have left out there in the blue?
Yeah, I've got 5. You can see it on screen.
I mean, that's all. Okay, so we have a countdown happening. Let's have a countdown, guys. And it's actually the guys from one of the boys from TP, Mr. Steroids, which could have actually made a difference if he was with his team also with that last battle that they had.
Yeah, they could have made a little bit of a difference, but as we can see now, it is going to be Steroids now trying to see just how far they can get through this one. But essentially, it is going to be the end of the road as the blue zone comes in with the victory there. And it is also then going to be the players from Slime 4KT, the last team to survive, picking up the winner chicken dinner. And with that, 13 eliminations to their name. So another amazing run coming in for Slime.
Indeed, another double-figure haul coming in there. So game number 1 of the sniper, it was white in game number 2. This time it is Slime 4KT with a 13, looking to get up in there in that top 3 positions. It might just happen, who knows?
Yeah, they're definitely in contention for that. As we can see, the rest of our teams here, the Outlaw Predators taking that second place with 4. Then we got Citizens, the 007 picking up all 5 of those elims. The same can be said for the players there from ASTERIA ESPORTS. Rocky also coming in with all 5 of the eliminations then for the team. We got Apex up in 5th place, finishing on 6. And of course, we got the players there from Cyclone Shield up in 6th place. We've got the squads coming in from Almost Wanted, and then we're going to be rolling on a little bit further. We got Zaid picking up 3 elims there for the team of the Snipers, putting them a grand total of 4th over in 10th place. As we look a little bit further on down, not a lot of elims coming through, but of course we can see Jude there picking up 2 at least, putting the team on a grand total of those 4. So, I mean, that's still a good finish to have But of course, looking at our stars of the match, it's going to be none other than Zeus picking up that MVP play. And of course, it is going to be Citizen X then for the snipers to be the best companion. And of course, we know the final blow was dealt by the beautiful Blue Zone, which is no surprise. But unfortunately, there's no star award for that performance, as we know. It's kind of a default play coming in, as you know, when the zone eliminates you.
Yeah, it's one of the worst feelings. I'm not too sure if you can say the same thing for those two gentlemen over there that decided to go for the blue zone game. You don't see that one every day.
Yeah,
Man.
but it is Sanok, so we do see those heal strats coming through every now and again. But of course, well, that is then going to wrap up our third match of the day. We still have one more to go, and then we'll know where our teams are currently sitting on the overall leaderboard, which will be our three teams not only walking away with the prize money, but also opening that slots for them, moving straight in towards the continental final. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be with you right after the break with our overall standings, and then of course our final match of the day. So see you guys back in a short few minutes. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to roll into our final match of the day. Of course, we are going to be heading straight over to Erangel to wrap it up. But we've already been seeing some pretty good performances coming in through our first 3 matches that we've already had. So we started off in Erangel, went to Murmur, went to Sanok just now. And then, of course, now it is time for us to head over on towards Erangel for the final run. But, of course, also, we got to take a look at our overall rankings to see where the teams are after only 3 matches before they head into their final match of the day. And of course, it is going to be none other than Slime sitting up in that pole position with 46 points to the name, 24 eliminations. Citizens holding on to that second position, only 4 points away. But of course, we see the Snipers then also sitting on 42 points with that winner chicken dinner. And then, of course, we got the blessing from Whitey. And I've said, of course, now, of course, so many times, of course. But, of course, you know, that's just, of course, how it goes, of course, right? So I just had to get that out of my system.
Of course.
But, right,
Yeah.
it is only the top 3 teams that'll be moving through to the Continental Finals. It'll also only be the top 3 teams that'll be picking up that prize money. So the first team picking up $500, second place getting $300, and third place getting $200. So there is going to be a little bit still for these teams to make the way through. And of course, that prize money distribution is going to be the same for every region. So this is only West Africa. We still have the other 4 regions to go. So North, South, East, as well as Central. And what was interesting about the qualifiers for the teams to get themselves in here is, you know, you could essentially qualify in any region. You don't necessarily have to be in that region, as long as you just participate and play it out, right? That's all you got to do. So you might see 1 or 2 teams in the West Africa region that is not necessarily from West Africa, but don't worry, right? We know what's going on, as that is, you know, just part of the teams getting in, and of course moving into our second page. Yeah, welcome to PUBG Mobile. We are going to be hopping into the next match momentarily. I mean, that only means that, you know, the teams have spawned into the lobby, right? So that's a great sign, because, you know, 2 minutes later, we are going to be hopping into the action to see what that flight path and everything else is going to be bringing through. But of course, you know, it's been a little bit of a tough day for 3 Brothers and Dream Team, as they are only sitting still on those single digits.
Diga, I feel so. You know what? I put the 3 Brothers in my top 3. I was close though. We had YT there. We had 4KT as well. Sniper coming through brilliantly. So nice surprise there for myself. And on the other end, on the other side of the table, as you can see, the 3 Brothers all the way 3rd last this time around. But nevertheless, it's going to be a juicy finish. It can be anyone's game if we look back at the first table over there, the top half of the table at least. Yeah. That's, I think, where our focus should be on, because they are playing for that cash money to get into that 3rd place or top 3 positions, and so that they can also not just get the prize money, but move forward to the finals as well.
You said that
I
cash
also
money.
is
You said that cash
the
money.
cash
Yes.
money, the mula mula.
Yeah, the cash money. That's exactly what they're playing for. And of course, as we know, they can pick up many of the monies. You know, if they perform
Ooh.
well enough. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is going to be interesting to see what the teams are going to be bringing on through. As you know, we've got 3 chicken dinners up on the board. Citizens, the only team in the top 4 that has not have a
Wow.
single winner chicken dinner thus far. But speaking about thus far, we are also then going to be hopping over into our flight path to see where the teams will have to make their way on through. Of course, it is starting in no other position other than over towards that multi-power slot, and of course heading all the way past the shooting range to end right there on the cliffs of nowhere. So the teams this time around having a little bit more of a satisfying flight path to try and work with, but we are still going to be waiting to see where that zone is going to be going. You know, on the first map, we had a beautiful horizontal flight path up towards the north. So maybe we could have a little bit of a shift come through, and maybe that zone could be taking a swing all the way down towards that Primorsk area.
Indeed, I mean, we know it is another huge map ending off of 1 on angle in between, starting off in between a Multipower and Novo, a couple of hot drops there up ahead as well for the rest of the teams, Razak School area, Naya. So a couple of favorite spots. We do know the teams themselves that they love to drop by, so it is up for grabs. They know where they like to land, so I would like to see them this time end it off with a bang, just dominate this area at the beginning of the map. I'm looking at the board as well, DK. You know, the top 3 teams over there, even with the Citizens not getting a chicken dinner, we definitely up there for contention for top 3 position. What are they going to do? That is the question. Where are they going to land? How are they going to fight their battles throughout? Because it's there literally for the taking.
Well, I can tell you, I know where they're going to be landing, right, on the map. That's the easiest answer, right? Obviously, also the obvious one. But you know, looking at that zone, it is a repeat of what we had in our first match. Again, moving over on towards that western side. So not really leaving much to the imagination there. We do see a few more teams positioned over on towards that eastern side. But again, we do see the players there from Almost Wanted, again, making that push, heading straight over in towards Pachinki. And we've got a few other teams still very much spread out across the remainder of the map. But it is Fear also now to come under a little bit of pressure there. As I'm not quite sure if Fear actually pushed up. Yes, they did. Fear actually moved all the way towards that position in Pachinki with that. Neo also now getting traded on down. And we'll jump straight across into the action to see what is going to be going here. As we have 22 King and Outcast being the final 2 hopefuls for Fear. But, I mean, I'm a little bit worried about Outcast's position because Outcast is, well, they've cast themselves out and, you know, stayed kind of up in towards that school spot. Also, Tratra is right here as well. Also, not a single drop of armor to speak of. So this is going to be a serious case of hide and seek coming in, at least for Tratra.
Yeah, Fear is in so much trouble right now. Well done on MW also for just dominating, getting their first Pachinki. But there we go. Getting traded is Fear. King coming in this time with his AKM getting a knock. Well done. Oh, and there comes the knockback. And that will be it for at least at Pachinki over there with Tratra. Like you said, he's still the last player in Pachinki. You see the outcast getting outcasted all the way there to the buildings just outside of school. But it looks like the is that there. I'm not sure if they know Tratra is there. Tratra didn't get any loot. Tratra is literally stuck in a ditch over here. So it's going to be a tough one. Also, just mentioning, like you said, the next zone. It is the exact same like game number 1. So maybe the teams can change it up a bit. It's the opportunity to redo that game number 1. But only time will tell to see what happens.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm curious to see what Tratra is going to be doing, right? So Tratra in a little bit of a... Yeah. I mean, it is Tratra. It says right there. I mean, I would probably maybe just put a space between the A and the T to make it more of a Tratra.
Yeah.
you know. But obviously, you could go with even more sound effects to kind of lock lock that one in. It'd be great to see, you know, some loot coming this direction.
Hmm.
But
Maybe raining down. Maybe a
maybe,
drop coming down.
yeah,
Raining
yeah.
there for Tratra.
And then tra can change to a bra bra taka 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 taka
Ye-
taka, you know, and then
Yeah.
it'd be great.
It would be awesome. It would be a dream come true for him. But you know what? Tratra still has a teammate over the Outcast. And we do know we have usually maybe one or two vehicles. Maybe if Outcast is lucky, and then he can pick his teammate up over here, Tratra. So he's stuck in a ditch, literally. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, and they'll have to ditch this position at some point,
Yeah.
right?
They're going to have to stop moving.
Yeah, because if we look at the players coming in from Almost Wanted, I mean, they've got pretty much you know, Pachinki to themselves now, because I don't see, you know, any contention coming through from the side there of Fear, and it's a little bit sad, right? I would have loved to see Fear, you know, just come in, put up a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the Outcast is still very mobile, going about grabbing some loot and whatnot. But yeah, maybe Tratra got disconnected, right? Maybe that Wi-Fi just went Tratra boom, and then, you know, no more.
You know what? I'm thinking the exact same. It looks like Tratra is crouching over here, no movement, not looking anywhere. There we go. Tratra is back. I can confirm with you. He is not disconnected. So I don't know. Also, I mean, looking at MW, they're quite far out from Tratra. So if he's looking for the opportunity,
Mm.
it is now.
Element of surprise. You know,
Yeah.
get it
yeah,
while it's
indeed.
hot. But speaking about get it while it's hot, right? We do see the players from Apex as well as the ladies, as you would say, they're from Iced Out Girls, getting ready to make their way towards the zone. Souza still hanging back a little bit there. Not quite sure why that's the case. You know, ideally want to see that whole team move up as a unit.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, you know, c'est la vie. It is what it is. Yeah, they just got to try and make the best with their current situation.
And they have to do exactly that. It's also time to get yourself into the zone. Looks like most of the players are trying to do just that. We're looking at Naya over there, 4KT, prompting for their favorite spot over there. And they're making their way in as well, as you said. Out of Lepofka, though, they're taking their time. Still, all the blue heads caught up with Apex. Not going to hurt, though, but you don't want to be caught up in a situation where you find yourself coming in late into a zone, into a battle or something where you gate kept as well. So maybe try and get there early as possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a proactivity, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of appreciated when you can see the teams, you know, just trying to get ahead of whatever chaos could be ensuing.
Yes.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the situation. I like this position also coming through for Asteria, as they've now moved into the Pachinki Hills. A great vantage point to be holding, but unfortunately, there's not really sufficient teams in the vicinity for them to really leverage this position. So, I mean, if they're just patient and they wait around, you know, a little bit, we could see several more teams starting to trickle in or potentially just, you know, passing by. So that could provide them with a few opportunities to, you know, pick up a few of those elims along the way, because Asteria, also a team that we have not yet seen push onto that first page. So, you know, open to those surprises that could be coming through, because currently Asteria is sitting with 16 points on the board all the way up in 10th position. So that puts them about 20 something points, you know, away from being in contention to potentially make it into the top 5, and who knows, maybe even top 3. But still, they're really going to have to play a near perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, it's spells. They need to get their hunting rifles out. They cannot sit tight on that hill over there if they want to find themselves in the top 3 positions. They can't wait, like you say, all day and wait for the teams to come their way, because that is probably most likely not going to happen. The zone falls on them, though, and it's not likely that that's going to happen. We do have the citizens now coming, making their way in, as well as 4KT. not too far behind, and it is the Ice Ladies, like you said. And there we go. We have Black fighting on Flow, gets the knock. There we go. I mean, look at that. What a knock from a distance, mind you. Me puts them in a little bit of a back pudding. Yeah, Outcast also making his way into the mix over here. So it's going to go down. Black now rushing. Teammates all going forward, pushing hard. Here they come. I mean, what a distance, what a knock that was. Oh, Black getting shot at, though. It is a Vitinho from the bottom, just trying to make sure that he can buy his teammates some time over here. He's doing just that.
I mean, you know, Vitinho, let's go for that pronunciation. You know, trying to have a little bit of faith, but unfortunately, faith is just trying to evade them for the time being. Of course, speaking about having faith, it is going to be the players there from Apex. Just as I clicked on them to hop across, Slime took them out, so they are spoiling all my fun here today. But fortunately, they had a little bit of justice come their way, right? Pronto got knocked, but Pronto is back up again. So, you know, it could be another interesting run coming through, at least for now, you know, for the players here from Slime. But they gotta look to that reposition, right? They gotta look to zone, gotta get their butts in. Fortunately, it's only that second phase blue, so it's not gonna be causing too much damage to them. They can sit around, sip a bit of blue before, you know, coming up with another strategy or another potential position to move into. And we can see them, of course, now getting mobilized. They are making their way towards that zone. But now the question comes as to where are they going to be going? And of course, speaking about where, we also see a little bit of that that bridge camping situation happening over on towards that western bridge. And again, this time around, we do see the players there from Dream Team situated towards the bridge. We can see Storm on the opposite end, but this time around, it is going to be the players here from Exodus holding this bridge camp position, with Ghost being positioned smack dab center on that bridge.
Yeah, I was questioning Dream Team's situation. I mean, this zone situation. They find themselves in Novo again, this time taking the bridge on the left-hand side to get back into the zone. I believe it was them in game number one that went through a little bit of trouble trying to get over. And it's again a bridge situation, and you don't want to find yourself on the island of military base trying to get into the next zone from that area. It's going to be difficult. I don't think it's going to be a difficult one to pull off over here. I mean, we have Ghost just sitting tight over here in his vehicle, looking that way, trying to get a nice bird's eye view, as high as he can, at least, on Storm over there out in the distance. And it's going to start hurting the blue zone. Once this blue zone settles, they're going to have to make a move for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only thing that it will settle is I don't know really what it will settle, but let's just say yes.
Dream Team's dust.
Yeah, who knows, right? Who knows? But a very interesting approach coming in here from Ghost. Just waiting now on the bridge to see what Dream Team's play is going to be, as we can see that blue zone getting ready to pop up once again. Now moving up on towards that Everest position, and Gatka. So a great anticipation coming through from the players there of Syndicate, right? Already making that push up on towards Everest, getting themselves in some beautiful vantage points there. And now all they can do is just look to see if anyone is going to dare venture towards them. Dream Team, yeah, Dream Team and Exotic in a little bit of an awkward standoff here, right? No one really doing anything right here. They're just kind of waiting around, like, oh, come on, move. And then the other one's like, no, you move. It's like, no, man, you move. It's like, oh, come on, just someone move. But speaking about all the moves, right, it is going to be Ghost that is going to have a little bit of company now, just rotating past them. A beautiful bit of an ambush coming in here. It only took 5 hours for this to come to fruition, but I've come to 2 beautiful trades now, an Exotic, or Exodus rather, having a beautiful play at the detriment of Dream Team. And Archer now is the last remaining hopeful.
Wow, well done on these guys. Team Exodus bringing the action here on the bridge, dominating. And we saw it coming. Dream Team would have a difficult choice to make over there. They tried to get over, tried to speed through over, but it just didn't work out for them. Here we go, final shots coming through by Ghost. Archer trying to defend, though. He has the AKM, which means he has a little bit of the upper hand. Ghost very low now, will taste a little bit of that molly and gets knocked. Archie doing really well to defend Dream Team, but he does need to deal with two more at the back there. It's going to be a difficult situation. Kunai now trying to get into his vehicle. I'm not sure what he's going to do. There we go, medic. Let's go, Kunai. Time to get up in there. There we go. He gets the revive as well. Archie doing really well for Dream Team. Coming, gets the knock again. What a battle on the bridge. One more to. Oh, and unfortunately just couldn't keep it to the very end. It is Team Exodus that comes out victorious on the Battle of the Breach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was a great bit of control alt delete coming in there from Exodus, so
Wow.
it's phenomenal to see. But of course, speaking about the action, it is going to be the players here now from the side of the Iced Girls, the Iced Out Girls, getting into a little bit of a difficult exchange with the players from Slime 4KT, as they now are to pack their bags and head on back. Of course, down to 10 teams we go. The final 10 teams left to fight it out in our last match right here for the West Africa Regional Finals. And that would then lock in our top 3 teams that is going to be moving through in towards the Continental Finals. Looking at the teams' positions now, there's still a little bit of improvements that the teams are looking to make here. We see the players from the Outlaw Predators also just inching their way up in towards Chopsticks, coming in on that southern side, just sneaking their way on through. And of course, if we have a quick look at where that zone has gone as well, you can see the zone now also taking a little bit of a shift, staying relatively close to Everest, but, you know, centering up beautifully on Gatka. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to see this, that Chopsticks is at long last in play. I have been waiting months on broadcasts to see Chopsticks coming into at least this 4th phase and potentially 5th phase. But now the reason for this is because the teams are left with a really difficult position to defend here.
Yeah, indeed, a lot of people or a lot of players need to make their way still into the zone. We have at least 2 or 3 of them. White also brilliantly placed here. They do have cover and they will have to defend though. It's going to be a difficult position for them as well. We do need to mention 4KT. What a performance from them. They do have 7 elims to their name already. They are in the top 3 already. They are almost cementing their name in the top 3, maybe gluing their name thus far. But we are yet to see a little bit of a performance coming through from the other guys who are also in contention. So we are on 4KT. They're looking to take shots at Outlaw Predators. Maybe they can just take over the building over there. 4KT Storm just having a quick look as he makes his way in now.
Yeah, and as we can see, the players here from you know, Predators, they're well aware of the position of Storm. They have seen the movement come through. You see the caution being brought in here. Fortunately for Storm, they have not been able to dial in the exact whereabouts of the team. But as you can see, Predators, they are pretty cautious and they're not going to be caught outside just yet. Steroids and the rest of the team trying to do their due diligence here. But also now we can see Kuma also getting traded off. But there we go. Great opportunistic play coming in. Let's see will it work. Steroid landing quite a few devastating blows into the side there of Storm and Zeus. So great utilization of that opportunity being presented. But of course, it is going to be Slime now looking to get themselves resituated, looking to push a little bit further up as we now make our way into only 9 remaining teams. And of course, 34 players still remaining. But, I mean, Storm not with a super aggressive reposition, just moving that vehicle up a little smidgen, just to ensure that it's not in direct line of fire.
Nice gameplay over there by Storm. He needs to take, oh, I mean, they're literally split. We got Plaza and Pronto dealing with the guys on the west, that is the Cyclone Shield boys. And then we've got Zeus and Storm here watching the guys from the Outlaw Predators. Literally, 2-man team on either side taking on full squads. It's going to be a difficult one. It's surprising to see what they are doing at this part of the game. It's the last game. They are trying to maximize, I'm thinking, on the amount of elims. And they are just trusting in their ability here.
Yeah, and of course now Pronto trying to push that ability as far as they possibly can. You can see X now crashing into a tree right in the middle of a gunfight. That is exactly what you want to happen when you're trying to flee the scene. Of course, with that comes a little bit of, you know, what was sure to come on in. That knock making his way up. It's Sexy also now just here on the very edge, managing to quickly find a position to pull up into. So you can see that zone now just moving a little bit on towards the western front. Again, not a super aggressive shift. But we do see Pronto and the rest of the team now looking to rush right onto the players here from Cyclone with a little bit of a hang on a second before, committing to that full-on assault.
Not get disconnected. I'm not too sure if I am disconnected yet,
No,
DK,
you're here.
but that would be lovely. That would be the better choice. Rather form up on Cyclone, as they do not have as much cover as the Outlaw Predators do. They're not in the zone, so let's rather deal with the guys outside. That's not in cover, but they do look like they're trying to escape the Cyclone. Plaza 4KT firing in the shots though from a distance. Ooh, Manny gets found, and it is Storm that gets that knock. All done here. We got back on the move. Plaza now trying to push a little bit more forward as Zeus now firing in shots just to make sure that nobody is left over. And it's time to move. It's time to get into the zone. There we go. We got Minato that gets knocked as well as Sher, I believe it was over there. Another knock coming in through from the top. It's knocks for knocks. It's crazy all over the map right now. And Vidino is the one that's taking the shots at 4KT, bringing it to them. It's not going to be an easy job. The teammates should probably help him out over here. Here comes the smokes, just to make sure that they can make their way into the zone, because it's not going to be that easy. Minato gets confirmed as he gets him back to the lobby by Mr. Boy there from MW. Ooh, it is lit all over the map right now, DK.
Yeah, the team's really trying their utmost to get themselves into a pretty sweet position. As you can see, Citizens now also just facing the onslaught of the players from Slime, as we have those blows coming through one after the other. But Storm also now getting hit, so like you can put up a crazy fight, but you're still going to be super cautious, as we know, right? Still 26 players alive. And they are all in pretty close proximity, as we can see coming in on the map there. So you got to be super careful to not overexpose yourself for too long. But it is going to be Pronto in the meantime, who will get traded on through. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to continue any of their efforts here, as I have just lost my mouse. Nice. There we go. Never mind. Found it again. Storm now trying to huddle up. Already 6 eliminations to their name just for Storm. The team, of course, collectively sitting on 11 now. But this is where the Citizens are going to try and hold on strong. We got the players here from the Outlaw Predators. Also trying to reach up in towards the zone. Maybe put a bit of a damper on the movements coming through here for the players of Almost Wanted. But I mean, Wando is just trying to lay in the fire, keep the pressure high. As we can see, also over on towards that northeastern side is going to be the players there from Asteria, and the snipers getting into a little bit of an altercation.
Yeah, indeed, coming through with an AWM there, YT Manufella just putting a damper on 4KT here. They have been reduced to one player, though. It is Storm and Zeus that's still alive, but one of them are down. Well done on YT, just coming through with their overwhelming presence once again in game number 4. They do need to eliminate 4KT over here if they are looking to plan that or stay within that top 3. But either way you look at it, I mean, Storm 4KT already in the double digits, 12 now eliminations to the naming total, coming into the top 5. Lots of point programs. I can bet that they are within that top 3 range. Also, YT finding themselves in there as well. Who else in the final teams are here that should make it? Sniper is in the mix as well. 3 eliminations only. Full squad, still looking good for them. Let's see what they can do. They will have to deal with on the right-hand side of them, it's going to be ASTERIA Esports. They are down to a 3-man squad. There we go. Black, and we have Faith as well, just firing in shots towards the enemy over there in front. That would be Sniper, just ditching down below, making use of the vehicle and the smokes.
Ooh.
Brilliantly done.
Ooh, yeah, it is going to be Storm now, also just trying to keep the tensions high. As we can see, the team's now still frantically trying to get themselves situated, trying to squeeze on through, looking to see if they can find any potential openings. And of course, this map is now so tiny, we can just look at the mini map up in the corner, because like I've zoomed in as far as I can on the map, and there's not much difference. But now the tensions start rising. This is where our final 5 teams are going to be fighting it out to see who will be the next teams to step up and potentially lock in that winner chicken dinner. Faith now getting a knock come their way. We've got the players there from Whitey also going to be looking to see if they can sneak themselves into a good position. I'm pretty surprised with the Slime as well this time around. Last time we were looking at them, they were sitting on, I think it was like 12 eliminations already.
Yeah.
So they've been having an absolutely phenomenal run, thus far. But of course, as we know, it ain't over until it's over. And that beautiful blue zone does its thing. You can see the players here now from the snipers trying to get those reses pulled off. You can see Faith now trying relentlessly to reach up in towards the vehicle, but that also then opens up the opportunity for anyone else to kind of come swinging on in, as we did see Marco picking up those hits. We got Rocky on the opposite end now trying to see if they can get into a decent position here. But I'd also be a little bit worried about the players there from Almost Wanted over on the opposite end of the map, right? You got them all the way over towards the western side. They're going toe-to-toe with Whitey, and I mean, as we can see, right, it is looking pretty tough on either side of this map.
Yeah, and Whitey just found themselves repositioned, looking to get in on the battle here amongst Sniper. I do believe there's still one more player not too far out there in the center, stuck in the mud. Ooh, but they do get one side to themselves over here, but just, I mean, they don't need to be laying on the ground anymore with Whitey, Skull, and everybody on the other end just firing in from the ground, staying low, making sure that they can't get found over here. This one is taking grenades now from Rick, looking to get that knock. Here he comes. Ooh, just overcooking that one. Now making his way forward on the left-hand side of the screen as he makes his way forward. He might get spotted, but he stayed in between the pushes. Well played by Vitinho. Makes it into the next zone. Just like that, we still have 14 remaining. We have someone in the mix over here by the drop. He needs to watch out though.
Yeah, it's time to get reckless, right? Got to get reckless if you want to get the chicken. So now they got to step it up. You got Rick coming in with a bit of a Rick roll here, trying to see if they can make anything happen. But the players there from Almost Wanted, they're not gonna let any opportunity slide just yet. So it's a really healthy approach coming in. They're from Almost Wanted, just keeping the tension up, keeping the pressure high, and with that, it is going to be Rick now. Who gets a little bit of a sting dealt towards them. Everything now turns to Manfilas to try and keep it all together. Blue Zone is also now going to start making its way on through. Rick, not quite sure whether or not Manfilas will be able to bring in that assist. We can see Zaid also trying to inch their way up right alongside Rick here. So, I mean, looking at the position we've got with these teams, it's definitely going to be a very cautious approach coming in. But I'm liking this play coming in from Almost Wanted, setting up those nades, trying to clear up the zone, and they've got a really good setup coming into this phase. They've got some good vantage points to play from, and with that, it is going to be Rick that gets traded off now with Manfilla, just trying to see if anything can work out, but it is going to be Flo putting an end to that rather abruptly.
Well done. Well spotted indeed there by Almost Wanted, taking out the last two players of YT. So there is one more to go to get that winner chicken dinner for Almost Wanted in game number 3. That is what they've been waiting for all along here. And that's finally come in the final game, as we do have Zayd now fighting in shots as they are trying to rush in on the final kill. Zayd still, of course, eventually. Yeah, stands no chance against the 3-man squad over there. But well done, nevertheless. It is Almost Wanted for the chicken dinner.
Yeah. I mean, they almost wanted second, but they were like, you know what? Let's go for the finish. And they cleaned it up, coming in with those 10 eliminations to the name. So much deserved chicken dinner being awarded to them. Of course, players from Snipers taking that second position with 6 eliminations. Whitey finishing up in third, coming in with 9 eliminations in total. We've got the players there from ASTERIA up in 4th place with 4 elims. We've got Slime 4KT going out with a bang. Like you were talking about going out with bangs, they definitely did, coming in with 12 eliminations up in 5th place. Of course, the players there from the Outlaw Predators securing themselves that 6th position, finding only 1 elimination. Of course, Citizens in 7th with 1. We got the players then from Syndicate up in 8th place. We got the players there from Cyclone Shield in 9th. We got the Exodus in 11th. The ICEDOUT Girls taking that 11th position as well. It sounds like I've already said that. I'm not quite sure, but either way, Dream Team in 12th place, Fear in 13th, And then the players from Apex being our first team, making their way over towards the lobby. Of course, our stars of the match are none other than Storm for 4KT, taking our MVP, those 7 eliminations and 883 damage dealt. It is going to be Citizen X from the Snipers being the best companion. And then we've got Wando. I'm just going to go with Wando because I'm gonna just obliterate the rest of the name. Landing the final blow to lock in that winner chicken dinner. So again, a really well-deserved winner chicken dinner for the players there from Almost Wanted.
Brilliantly done by them. What a display of OP gameplay. They're coming in at the end, finally getting the chicken dinner. They didn't give up. We just shows don't give up. You can always get there, and that just might just put them in the top 3. Might just put them in the top 3 GK.
Yeah, it might just actually, right? And I mean that's the beauty about it is you gotta keep the tensions high, you gotta keep the pressure up. You know, you gotta try and play this as best you can because otherwise, if you don't, it's you're gonna run into a few problems along the way. But I gotta say, very very satisfying performances coming through from the teams repping for this Western region. But also then, as we know, we had the Western region that was played out just now. Next up, well, not next up, but the next day of play is going to be our Northern regions looking to kind of wrap up their play. So that would be happening in 2 days from now. So today is Tuesday. The next match is going to be all the way over on Thursday when we move into the North Africa regional finals. So I'm quite excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing in on that front. We've got another beautiful selection of teams moving through. We've got the players there from 46 Loot coming in, as well as Virtual Gaming, Team Forces. We've got Rebels Rage. We've got Darkness, AKM Team. We got Lusail Esports. We've got one more PUBG Mobile. We got Masters. We got Venomy, as well as Cryptics. We got the Super Young Legends. We got the Hunters. We got SWAT, Morocco, as well as Code 12 Devils. And then, of course, also the players coming through there from RTG Esports. So some very, very familiar names coming in. So very excited to see what the Northern Finals are going to be bringing in. So be sure to join us on Thursday when we get right into our North Africa Regional Finals. It is going to be an absolutely insane day. Of course, for today, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. All lag and everything considered, that's just part of the challenge. It makes it exciting looking at our skill level of ventriloquism. Yes, that's a new word. You can add all the extra letters that I just carved out into it in that. But a very exciting day nonetheless as the team stepped up. So be sure to join us back again on Thursday as we get into even more action. As I've already mentioned, even more teams. So until then, stay safe, stay good. And we look forward to seeing you all back on the final day. I don't know what to say anymore.
We'll see you again.
Cool, guys. Have a great one. See you all on Thursday.
Cheers.
All right, so I just realized, right, we probably got to do the results as well. So let me just find out if we're going to be having the results for this last match on the stream, or are they going to post it on social media? So while I wait for that to be answered, we can talk a little bit longer. I get so caught up in everything, right? I'll just blame it on the
processes.
Yes, so it happens. But again, as I've been saying, it's very, very satisfying. But what is your takeaway out of today's games?
The first thing that stands out once again, I'm going to mention it again because it means a lot to me. When it comes to games, especially when you play as a team, the part of never giving up. Because you can get a little bit, if you're not making it into the top teams and just proving it there towards the end, Almost Wanted. Just keeping the spirits high and managing to get the chicken dinner, get the elims to the name as well. I don't know. I'm not sure if they came in they didn't get in the top 3 positions within the first 3 games there, but nevertheless, that's going to help them a lot as well with where they find themselves as a team.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a team effort, right? So You gotta work on that teamwork to ensure that everything works out at the end of the day. But I mean, I want to take a quick look at the standings we had coming into this match, right? Before
Yeah.
we move into the updated ones, to
Okay.
see who our final three teams are moving through. So please take that into consideration. This is not, it says there, post game 3. If it's the
Yeah.
up to date one, it would say post game 4. So please just acknowledge that section. But of course, as we did see, Slime bring in some pretty strong consistency, good eliminations, good placement points. I mean, Citizens, they were pretty consistent with regards to the placement. The snipers were super aggressive. And then Whitey, also a good amount of balance being brought in on their end, right? So
Yeah.
good eliminations, good placement. Not as high as what we see for Slime, but still a pretty good basis to try and work from. So I'm curious to see how this last match's results then kind of reflect and how that translates into these overall rankings. Because I mean, whichever teams will be the top 3, they work their butts off in these 4 games, right? I mean, yes, it's not the craziest challenge. It's not like it's like a week of gameplay or something. But of course, as
Yeah.
we know, they've also played through the other previous stages to make it to this point.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you may look at it like that, but for myself, I would say there's so much pressure just having to make it through to into the top 3 within one night, within 4 games. So my hats off to all the teams that have participated here tonight from the West. And as well, I mean, we were talking about 4KT and I think it was YT as well. So 4KT not making it into the top 3 in game number 4, but getting into the double digits there with the eliminations. And then looking again at YT, not making it in the double digits, very close with 9 eliminations, but then placing better in 3rd position. So it's going to be a little bit tough, but I mean, YT is in 4th place, not that far out with points.
Yeah.
But one cannot guess. That's why I say it's going to be so close.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting looking at YT because, we were looking at their performance coming through in the Snapdragon Pro Series by PMCO for Africa. So I just had to say the full name. Because it was always a challenge on the actual broadcast. But either way, I mean,
let's get that again.
Sorry?
Let's get that again. The Snapdragon. What was that?
Snapdragon Pro Series by PMCO. Yes. And it was the spring 2022 split. All right. So I mean, yeah. So that was that was pretty much the end of that part. But again, looking at the performance coming through there from YT Gaming, they were doing exceptionally well. So I'm going to be looking to their performance here because they were able to finish quite strong with regards to the PMCO itself. So I'm expecting that to kind of translate into what we've been seeing coming through on these matches. Now, to get a bit of an idea as to what that point situation is, we are going to be moving through into the second page, which has been updated, right? As you can see there, it says final standings. So it's all being displayed on the screen. I'm actually doing that so I can actually update the other graphic that we were just looking at. Trying to build a little bit of tension up here. But here we can see where the teams finished off. It is the players there from Asteria up in that 9th place. Apex, ICEDOUT Girls, Fear, Syndicate, Three Brothers, Dream Team, all taking their respective positions there. But I mean, it's a little bit sad that we didn't get to see Search and Destroy, come out to search and destroy a few things. But, again, it is what it is. But also, based on what we saw through today's matches, I would really have liked to see Three Brothers, Syndicate, as well as Asteria situated a little bit higher up on the leaderboard.
I was thinking the exact same thing, DK. I'm a little bit disappointed to see the placement maybe put them a little bit, didn't get them where they wanted to be. Come in with a few eliminations there with the Asteria and Team Apex. I mean, we saw them grinding it out in every game, right through from game 1 right through to 4, finding themselves within a situation where they are taking teams on. They put so much effort into it. It's so sad to see them at the bottom, but nevertheless, well done, man, to all of them.
Yeah, and of course now that then leads us straight into our top page. So without any further ado, here we have our top 3 teams moving through into the continental finals, and also walking away with a little bit of that prize money we have for the regional. So it is going to be none other than Slime, the Snipers, and YT. So each of these teams, as you can see, picking up their winner chicken dinners as well. But look at the points. I mean, it is so close. Only 8 points separating first and third position. So very contentious performances coming in. And I mean, all 3 of these teams have exactly the same amount of placement points.
Look at that! Wow, you know, that's the first time I see something like that. I think, and I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that you see something like this happening.
Yeah.
But again, look at the consistency there from Whitey, so it's really great to see that. And then, of course, the aggression coming in there
Yes.
from Slime and the Sniper. So, I mean, it makes me very excited to see what these teams are going to bring to the field once they step in towards
Wow.
those continental finals. It's definitely going to be something to not miss out on. And, you know, some pretty exciting action still lays ahead. But also, looking at where the rest of the teams have ended up, I mean, Almost Wanted, yes, they picked up that winner chicken dinner, but they were just not able to replicate that enough to finish in the top 3 on the leaderboard. But still, a very valiant effort being put in there by them.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there we go. We have the best 3 players within the West Africa region. It's going to be Slime for KT, the Snipers, and YT Gaming, bringing the force right throughout, dominating, and it shows there in the total points. So just leading a couple of, I mean, with Citizens not too far out, not getting the chicken dinner. Unfortunately, maybe that could have helped them, but they would be the team that will probably be the thinking, what did we do wrong
Yeah, I
there?
mean, but definitely Citizens have been the team that were more consistent with placement, right? Because they've got more placement points than any of the other teams here.
Yes.
So,
And that's what they were doing
yeah.
throughout the game, just finding themselves placed.
Yeah, I mean, they were just 9 eliminations short from tying up with
Yeah.
YT, you know. So,
Wow.
but that's you know, at the end of the day, just the way it is. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
big congratulations going out to our 3 teams that will be moving on to the next stage, also walking away with a little bit of that prize money. But again, now
Yes.
this time around, for real, really, honestly, we've now really reached the end. The first time was just a test to see if I could remember. Obviously failed. So well done to me. But you know, very satisfying day. Some pretty great action coming in from these teams. And I'm curious to see, as I've already mentioned, the teams lined up for the northern region. Looking to see what those qualifiers are going to be bringing through. If the western region is anything to go by, we are going to be in for quite a ride. Looking at these teams stepping on towards that battlefield. So be sure to not miss any of the action. Follow the channel if you have not done so already. If you were chatting in the chat, that's obviously what you had to do because, you know, it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. But either way, we'd love to see you all back again on Thursday when we get into the North Africa Regional Finals. So be sure to join us then. And of course, a big shout out going out to the Republic of Benin as well as Nice Cactus for making this event happen. With all of that having been said, we see you all back again on Thursday. Until then, have a fantastic evening and stay safe.